Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we're going to be playing some Speed, something I haven't actually done in a while. I do really like Speed, and there have been specific metas that I've really enjoyed playing, but we haven't really done a lot of it recently. Usually Speed is what we do when we have a bit of like rush downtime, but we've kind of been filling that gap with Shadowverse lately, so it would be interesting to go back to Speed, because again, I think, depending on who you ask, people say, like, oh, Speed is unplayable right now, or Rush is unplayable right now, and, like, you should only play the other one. And it's, like, it's always a bit of a weird spot, because I think there's always people that do genuinely believe that, but also I think both formats, for the most part, are usually in an okay spot. And I think people do tend to get a bit hyperbolic with it, and they do tend to over-exaggerate. They're like, oh, it's so bad right now because there's this one deck that's ever on ladder, or oh, it's so awful because something is like ruining the format. Oh, this deck is everywhere. There's this one card that like absolutely ruins everything. And some of these are fair criticisms, but I do think people get a little bit too emotional. I do think they do tend to, like I say, they overplay it a bit, right? Which is fine, right? Again, you're entitled to feel however you want to feel. If you dislike a meta, that's completely fine. But saying it's completely unplayable, I don't know about that. But on top of that, because we are going to be attempting to learn Despia, we're going to try and learn the meta, because this should be the meta that we have going into Worlds. So I think learning it ready for Worlds could be pretty fun as well. I want to find out what the best decks right now are, because I haven't really touched Speed that much since... God, it would have been the... What was it? The Resonator, the Salad. Obviously, I was playing Dinosaurs, but it wasn't really in the meta at the time. Hero was around. Like, that kind of meta was the last time I played. That was a couple of metas ago. So this would have been before, like, Ancient Gear came in, before Nouvelle, before... I suppose on the tail end of Shadow coming back in a big way. Because there was, like, a lot of different decks that were kind of popping up around this time. But we haven't really touched it much since then. Beyond that, we also are going to be reacting to the Chronicles. Because I watched the Sky Striker Chronicle, the initial one. And it was... short. Like, nothing happened. The animation was not great, because there wasn't really any animation to be great. So, we kind of, like, stopped watching it after that. But I've heard... the Albaz one is really good. So we're going to watch the latest two, because I haven't watched either of those. We're going to be doing that at some point today. Beyond that, we do still want to talk about Rush, because we should theoretically have a new Rush product coming out this week. I'm expecting it this week, but it could be technically like next week. But like, based on the information we have, I'm going to say it's coming out this week, right? That's going to be my prediction. We'll see if it ends up being correct or not. Assuming it does come out this week, that means we will have the new Shiny Shady Trap card. We'll have the new Matari and stuff, which is going to be very exciting. And I do want to talk a little bit about that. And then the last thing I kind of want to touch on is going to be Shadowverse Open. This was the first, like, big official Shadowverse tournament. And it was kind of a shit show. So we're also going to talk about that and, like, you know, the aftermath of that and what's going on in the future of that. And basically how it seems like a lot of their blame is being put on Start GG, which is somewhat justified. Like, I'm sure that some of y'all in chat know StartGG, not always the most reliable website. But, you know, we make do with it. So, maybe they should make do with it, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But let's see who we have in the chat. We have Gunkin Suship Shari. Hello, my friend. We have... I'm going to pronounce this now. We have Gila QC. Or Gila QC? Gila QC sounds better. Hello. Soon. We have Frigate. Play. I mean, we will be playing. We have Zaki Boys, minus 600, minus 600, minus 600. Always got to pay your taxes. We have Monosync in the chat. Hello, Mono. We should also give Monosync yet another shout out, because we do this quite a lot recently. But I need to just, like, get a Mono command is what I need, really. Monosync, everyone knows Monosync. Monosync runs tournaments, hosts tournaments, does a little bit of everything. Does it for Speed, does it for Rush, does it for OCG. My man does it all. We also have Dwan in the chat. Hello, Dwan. Welcome. It's Thursday because Quantum Rush is on Friday. If it was Thursday and Quantum's doing it on Friday, wouldn't that logically mean that it would be coming out on Friday? So that the Rush tournament makes more sense to be on a Friday? I don't know. It's a weird one. Has to come out this week or it won't be legal at Worlds. Yeah, so the what we've known for a little while is that the cutoff point for Worlds decks, or like the World card pool being announced, is the 1st, right? So we know by the 1st, that is when we know what the card pool is going to be for Worlds. So then the question became, if they want to give us this product before then, that means they want it for Worlds. But they could just give it to us after and just not have these cards be legal for Worlds. I think most people kind of came to the conclusion that that meant they were going to get them out by the 1st and then have them legal for Worlds. But there was kind of that other narrative being pushed a little bit. Tekken got 1,000+ players physical event using Start GG. I think part of it is organizer diff. Yeah, it might be a Friday too. Yeah, I would expect it to be Friday. Otherwise, why wouldn't... You know, right, again, tinfoil hat, right? Because, again, we don't want to, like, put words in people's mouths. We don't want to get anyone in trouble for something they may or may not have said. But, theoretically, if you were going to have your tournament that usually ran on Thursdays, and you were going to move it to a Friday, there has to be a reason for moving it, right? If it was going to come out on the Thursday, then you'd be fine just to have it be on Thursday, right? So, I don't know. It's a weird one. That's how I'm interpreting. But, again... we don't truly know, right? A lot of this is speculation, right? A lot of this is half-truths and inferring things based on incomplete information. So, because Streamer is very caring and giving us time to open the box. Don't be silly. Don't be silly, Mono. Come on, no one believes that. No one believes that for a second. No one believes it. But, I suppose the first thing we should do is head over here. Let's see what this is going to register first. Is this going to register anything? Okay, it's going to immediately register Duel Links. That's a good sign. I didn't do a lot of setup for this, so we also need to make sure that we have our goal and overlay on, actually. That's probably a good shout. But we also do need to make sure that our phone is being registered. There we go. So, we do have this up, because we're going to do our yappy bit first. You know how we always love to do our yappy bit. We're going to have a little peek and see what's going on. So first things first, August upcoming updates. Always exciting. Now, some speed stuff. Tin Dangles, Cucumber Horse. That's neat. I think we did see that we were getting Cucumber Horse in the event. Where was it? It was in here somewhere. It was the Wave Duel Scramble. We're getting the Cucumber Horse. And we're also getting the Delirium Papillon. So, Pappy is a weird card. This card did see a little bit of play. Not a ton, but it did see a bit of play before the rest of the Delirium stuff came out. And so this is change this attack position card to face defense position. One face-up monster on your opponent's field becomes insect type this turn. Then, if another face-up defense position monster is on the field, you can draw one card. So this card it's not bad, right? You could look at this as just summon it, change it to the defense, draw a card. Like, that does kind of work. You need to have another face-up defense position card, but, like, you could theoretically use this just to draw a card, right? There is some stuff you could do with this. It's not, like, the craziest card in the world, and this card will be a little bit better when we do get the rest of the Delirium stuff, but I don't actually know if it will. Will this card see play when we have the entire Delirium package? Because the issue is, you always have to think about it as, we have 10 less cards in our deck, and theoretically a skill to also support this. I don't think this card's going to see much play initially. And again, when it gets the rest of the Delirium support, I don't know if this card will see play then either. This is a bit of a weird one. Like, changing your opponents to Insect doesn't do a lot for us right now. Like, realistically, this is what? You can pop something with the spell card. You can pop something with Dynast Dorcas if it's level 5 to 8. It's kind of it. Which is, like, fine. I mean, getting the draw would be nice, but how often are you going to get that draw effect off? And then down here, we also have watch as the oxygen in the atmosphere explodes into the eternal soul of conflict. This may allude to the introduction of Teodosia. I don't know why... Like, this is always Tiger. This is always Tiger. I don't know why we're using, like, the proper name. This is Tiger, right? It's Tiger, guys. Come on. But yeah, if we're going to be getting Tiger... it makes sense, right? Based on the data mines that we've been having, based on a lot of the speculation that people have been making, getting Tiger does make a lot of sense. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get Tiger and if we do get Pappy. Well, we know we're getting Pappy. Will be interesting to see if Pappy has any kind of relevance on the meta, any kind of impact. So next up, I did want to take a look at Bismuth's Duel Links meta snapshot, because I think this is always very, very interesting, especially the speed stuff, because I've been paying attention to the speed, but like not in depth, right? Like we've been orbiting the speed format without actually being involved with it. So as we can see, Ancient Gear does appear to be like the best deck, at least tournament performance wise right now. So that's pretty cool. We do then immediately have Despia as like the second best deck, which is, that's good for us, right? Because like we're planning to play this today. We're going to try and learn it. We're going to see how it goes. So that's good news for us, but I still don't really know how to play the Despia deck, so we are going to kind of be fumbling this as we go, and we'll see how we actually do get on with it. And then obviously we got the Speedroid stuff. I've never been a big fan of Speedroid, so on the plus side, I've played against Speedroid a lot because it's very, very popular, but I haven't played against this new version of it, I don't think. I think I might have played against it once or twice, but not a ton. Then there's the Utopia deck, which is, I don't know, as long as the Utopia deck isn't, like, lava goleming me, I don't really care. Like, but then again, maybe I don't care about it because the decks I play are pretty good into it, and maybe the Despia deck won't be. We'll have to wait to see how that goes. Then we got Shadow. I don't even know what this is. Like, this 5.8 here, I have no idea who this is. I assume it will say down here somewhere. Is it Odd Eyes? Is that Odd Eyes? I assume this is Odd Eyes, because it's the only one I don't recognize. So we got what, Gusto, then we got Sky Striker, then we got Chimera, and then this is Agents? What's the deck called? It's got like a proper name, right? Oh, it's just Agents. Okay, let's find them. I remember I didn't like Agents when it got its first, like, when it came out and it was absolutely busted. I was like, Agents is disgusting. And then it got nerfed, and then it got, like, unnerfed a little bit later, I think. Hopefully Speedroid falls off so Utopia can rise. Do you really want Utopia to rise? One, is that what we're talking about right now? Also, does, like, Speedroid, like, specifically counter Utopia? I don't really know the matchups, so I don't really have, like, a horse in this race, I suppose. Konami, we want Shimmy Shady. I mean, we're going to get it eventually, Luis. But hello, Luis Fernando. Welcome to the stream. Yes. I mean, that's fair. The thing is, I don't know many people that actually really like Utopia. Like, whenever I see anyone mention Utopia, they're always talking about how much they don't like it. How it's everywhere on ladder. How it's a glue deck. I very rarely hear people, like, bat for the deck. Which is, like, it's a bit of a shame, really, because even decks that people don't like, usually there's, like, champions of it. Like, even when Hero was around in full force, and it was even, like, the Floodgate variant, there were still, you know, adamant defenders of the deck. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see what exactly these lists end up looking like. Well, this is the other thing, is that a lot of these decks are really weird. Like, this one here, this rookie list, this is the Sky Striker, like, Despia stuff. I don't have all the Sky Striker stuff, so we're not using that version, I'll tell you that right now. Which is probably means it's going to be like the weaker version, but it is what it is. And then we'll quickly look at the Rush stuff. Obviously, we already know pretty much all the Rush stuff, so there's not going to be anything too crazy in here. Oh, would you look at that? Light Galaxy is the best deck by a mile. Who would have thought? The one thing that's actually quite interesting on this is, I suppose it's because it only takes a look at first and second place. I suppose that's why there's going to be a discrepancy. It's just because if we look at... Let me go and grab my data up real quick. It's the quickest way to do it. Probably like this. Like, if I grab my spreadsheet up, and if we just compare it. So here it's like, oh, you know, it's very clearly we have Light Galaxy #1, and then these three as, like, the next best decks, and then Dark Galaxy underneath. Whereas, I suppose the other thing is it counting Tier Thing and Dark Galaxy Fusion as the same deck? That's the other interesting. So I think it just counts them as the same deck. Because, like, according to my data here, if we format this a little bit better for you, we've got Light Galaxy is 49%, and then Elemental Heroes, then Baseball, then Dark Galaxy Tier Thing, then Spellcasters, then Red Boot, then Dark Galaxy Fusion. So it's interesting how, like, I would assume this is just an amalgamation of both. And obviously Red Boot's nowhere to be seen here. Which, like, isn't too surprising. When was the cutoff for these? Because this doesn't actually have the dates, so I'd have to, like, look them up myself. I'm trying to think, when was the last Red Boot, like... Again, it only matters if it was in the... Yeah, so Galaxy Rush 21 was the last time that a Red Boot deck even topped. And this was RDL Weekly, so I'm going to assume this is from RDL Weekly onwards. Yeah, okay, so it was literally the tournament before this was the last time that we saw Red Boot get a top. Or a top 2. Based Ball. If Shiny Shady don't fix the format, the problem is definitely 6,000 life points. I mean, potentially. I think it depends what actually ends up happening, right? We still don't know if it's going to be limited in any way. Because there is a massive difference between a Limit 1, Limit 2, Limit 3, or Unlimited. Like, it's massively different the way it will, like, affect the format. As well as... I feel like if it's unlimited, what stops everyone from putting 3 copies of it in every single deck? If you put it at limit 3, now it becomes a tool that decks that don't use limit 3s use, I guess, for the most part. It's a weird one. Definitely a weird one. We have Ursus in the chat. Hello, Ursus. Welcome. He only does them for 1 week every week. Red Boot is not fun. I'm sure some people really like Red Boot. But, like, even in terms of... I suppose, if we ever look at just, like, the data that is being used here, it's just these. So, it was Dark Galaxy Fusion. I suppose there's no Tearfing. Tearfing did not make it into top 2. Tearfing was only in top 4. So, it's interesting how the data and the results of the data can change so drastically, depending on where your cutoff is. If you're doing just top 2, versus if you're doing top 4... the data set looks really, really different. Which is really interesting to take note of. Limit 2 is probably good for a lot of decks, in my opinion. For Shiny Shady's limitation, I mean. The issue is, Limit 2 is a weird spot. Thank you for the follow, Simone T. Prime. Welcome. The issue you're going to have, though, is going to be... like, if we go and take a look at... oh, where is it? Gunkin Suship Shari subscribed with Prime. Thank you for the subscription, Shari, as always.
Gunkin Suship Shari just subscribed with Prime.
Do appreciate it. Do massively appreciate it. Gunkin Suship Shari always repping the channel. Where is... what I want to do... right, that's also new. I want to read that in a sec. But where are the limit lists? That's what I want to see right now. Is there a way to, like, see that? There should be a button here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. When branded in Rush, I think we might be a little bit far away from that hidden bunko, but welcome on in. Alright, articles maybe? I don't know where it's going to be. I mean, let's look at mine. This is easier. If we go to the Forbidden / Limit list, the only Limit 2 right now... God, is this even accurate? Is Magical Miracle still Limit 2? I think it is, right? I think this is accurate. Usually I keep this up to date, but it might not be. Let's go articles. I just want to see the current limit. That was limit 2, now it's unlimited. Okay, so that's now just unlimited. I really should update this. That's not on there at all. Where is the... right, if I just want to see the Forbidden Limit list, do I have to, like, go through it through, like, a back door? It's so weird. Right, here we go. This is what I want. So Limit 2s are now these. This is something I need to, like, make sure I keep this up to date with, really. So this is going to be... Phoenix Dragon is here now. Gaia Conqueror of Champions. And then Void Corridor. You're all in there now. That's good to know. So if it went to Limit 2, that means you would take it away from Phoenix Dragon deck. So you take it away from Dragon Fusion, I guess. You take it away from Baseball. You take it away from Gaia. And you take it away from Dark Galaxy. Are those really the decks we'd want to be taking Shiny Shady away from? It's a weird one. Gotta Google the current list. I think the problem with this format has already gone through 2 boxes and 2 lists, and Light Galaxy is still the strongest in the format. The thing is, I don't think... It depends what we're talking about here, right? In terms of Konami, I would say Konami's probably quite happy with how it's gone. But, like, as us, the players, we're the ones that are quite unhappy with this, right? Right, let's take a look at this. World Championship, Finals 2025 rule set announced. Mr. Wolf TV, welcome, welcome. So, introduction. Konami have officially announced details of the World Championship 2025 rule set, which take place on August 29th to 30th in Paris, France. Here's what you need to know. 8 players, 8 players. The main tournament first stages for WCS 25-day division, rush duel format, and speed duel format will be held simultaneously. I never like this. Because if they're held at the same time, that means you can't really watch both, which is a bit of a shame. Because a lot of our... You know, the speed duel and rush duel stuff is a lot of crossover. Like, a lot of the players, a lot of the community. Which is a bit of a shame. But the main tournament stage will complete 4 rounds played in Swiss draw format. This means players with the most similar results DP will be pitted against. So this is exactly the same. The winner of each round will be determined by best of 5. Exactly the same. Once a deck is used, it cannot be used again in the same round. Exactly the same as last year. During each round, you'll be awarding 3 DP. Exactly the same. Top 4 players will advance. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Highest DP, and then this is all, looks like it's exactly the same. Final tournament. The final tournament will comprise a 2 semi-final or more final played on single elimination format between the 4 players who advanced from the main tournament first stage. The winner of each round will be determined by a best of 5 match. Exactly the same. Duelists will construct 5 decks that follow the following guidelines. Duelists must follow the Forbidden Limited list, effective as it is on August 1st. Duelists cannot use any new cards, characters, and skills scheduled to be added to the game after August 1st. So we did kind of already know this. Duelists must prepare 5 decks each with different character skill and different character and skill. So again, that's fine. It's exactly the same as last year. Through at least 3 decks must have a legendary skill. Okay. Duelists can only have up to 3 copies in total of each card across all decks. Duelists can only have up to 1 copy in total of each card, limit 1 across all of their decks. 2 cards, limit 2 across all decks. Cards you can only obtain 1 or 2 copies of in-game can only be included up to that number of total times across all decks. Each duelist can set 3 tactical cards. Attainable in game, limit 1, limit 2, limit 3, okay. So this is exactly the same. Exactly the same. 5 decks is expensive? Yes, it is. But these are the best players in the world, right? For the most part, if you're the best player in the world, you have all the cards. That's generally how this goes. These are the people that are, like, super dedicated, so, like, it's not too surprising. But hello, welcome on in. What cooking? In this year is 3 tag cards. They had 3 tactical cards last year, I believe, didn't they? 1 legend per deck is different, I think. And 3 tactical cards instead of 2. It was 3 tactical last year, wasn't it? Well, I haven't looked at the rush stuff. I assume this is all exactly the same. Blah, blah, blah. 5 decks. At least 3 decks must have a legendary skill set. I don't remember this being a thing. So, right. At least 3 decks must have a legendary skill. Does that just mean, like, an archive skill? Like, what does... Or does legendary skill mean a character skill? In the last year was 2 tactical cards? Okay. Was there only 2 last year? That feels so off. It feels like it should have always been 3. Duelists can only have up to 1 copy of each limit. That's exactly the same. Duelists can have up to 3 copies in total of each legend card, with a maximum of 1 per deck, obviously, because that's how it works. However, if a legend card is limit 1 or limit 2, only 1 or 2 copies respectively in total can be included across all decks. Huh. So that means you could have Widespread Ruin. You could have like 3 Widespread, as well as a negate attack and compulse, right? Legendary skill equals character skill. Yeah, it's really weird terminology. All 5 decks can't repeat the legends. No, they cannot. They can, but for the example... So here it specifically says... Duelists can have up to 3 copies in total of each legend card. Which means you can't just put 5... You can't just have, like, widespread in every deck, right? You can only have 3 maximum widespread, even though the card isn't limited. So, like, they're like soft limit 3'd, I guess. It's interesting, though. It is very interesting. I'm wondering how I would build decks with these restrictions. Right, each duelist can select 3 tactical cards to include 3 copies of each per deck. If only 1 or 2 copies of selected cards are obtainable in game. Okay, that's whatever, right? So, right. Is everyone hamstrung by having Fusion as a tactical card? Like, can you get away with not using Fusion as a tactical card? Like, let's go back and take a look at the data again. Like, if you're playing Light Galaxy, you want to be playing Fusion. If you're playing E-Hero, you want to be playing Fusion. If you're playing Baseball, you don't need Fusion. You don't need it for Tearfing. You do need it for Spellcasters. You don't need it for Red Boot. You do need it for Dark Galaxy. Just pick decks that don't use Fusion. What would it even look like if you did that, though, right? You'd be playing... So, Light Galaxy, and then it'd be what? Baseball, Tearfing, Red Boot? Like, I mean, you could do that. It'd be weird. Fusion, Starry Star, and Shiny Shady, probably. Starry Star. Starry Star. Do we need Starry Star? How many decks would we play Starry Star in? We don't play it in Light Galaxy. You don't play it in Hero. Well. You could play it in Hero. You don't play it in Baseball. You don't play it here. You don't play it here. You don't play it here. Fusion, Secret Order, and something. Secret Order right now does make sense because you play it in Baseball. It's just kind of Baseball, though. So it's just like, do you just play it in Baseball? All Hero uses Starry Star. 100% of Hero uses Starry Star. The thing is, does it matter? Like, do you... Like, realistically... Hero can make do without Starry Star. Like, they just can, right? They just can. You don't need it. It's really good for the deck. You don't 100% need it. The deck would work without it. At the same time, we still don't know how Metarian is going to perform. So it's like... Curse could be one. Curse is a weird card, though, because, like, in some situations, Curse does, like, nothing. And in other situations, Curse will, like, enable you to win the game entirely on its own. So, like, it's really volatile. Where sometimes, again, it's going to be the reason you won, and sometimes it's going to be the reason you lost. Like, it's a really weird one. Are we expecting the deck build before the cutoff? Yes, I think that kind of goes without saying. I would be shocked if it didn't. Let's put it that way. I'm expecting it to come out on Friday. That is my prediction. But we'll see. We will see. Probably Hero or Red Boot is going to use Curse. I mean, potentially, right? It's one of those things, again, where you don't... I don't think you need a ton of Curse, right? I think you could probably get away with just having 3 copies of it across all your decks. The cutoff is Friday, though. Well, yeah, but if we have a look, it's at... I mean, does it have a time? Because, like, we did have in the Discord, we did have Brad say that he thought it was going to happen at Ranked Reset, which is what, like, midnight or whatever, or when the servers go down or something. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it just does it then, right? Which would, again, that would just be Friday. Because it doesn't specifically say, like, this has to be done at midnight on X day, or it has to be done blah, 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 blah. Because all it says is, cannot use any new cards, characters, skills scheduled to be added to the game on or after. So it'd have to be before. It would have to... Oh, 2 p.m. It says 2 p.m. 2 p.m. JST. When is 2 p.m. JST? When is that for me? So that's 6 a.m. So that is when the servers go down. That is actually at the reset. So that would make sense for that to be exactly when it comes out, right? So they could be technically released at 6 a.m., which is... That does make sense. That is usually for me when cards come out. Pick Curse as your tactical card to throw off your opponent, but you only use it in one deck. Do you know what the actual, like, mega big brain play is? Play one copy of it in every single deck, and then your opponent will see it, and they'll be like, well, I have to play around it now, even though you've only got a single copy. Bam. For it's Friday at 1. In my opinion, the 5 decks will be Light Galaxy 7s, Hero, Ritual Beast, and Metarian. I mean, potentially, right? I think one of the biggest issues is we really don't know how much of a impact Shiny Shady is going to have. Like, it could absolutely change everything, right? It could have a massive, massive impact on the meta. It could, like, warp the meta around itself. Or it could do nothing. Or it could just be somewhere in between, right? It's really hard to know until we actually get a shit ton of data, until we get a load of people playing with it, and we actually get to see results happen, right? It's all well and good to be like, this should have a big change. It doesn't necessarily mean it will, right? Generally, in my experience, you can think something all you want, but until you actually see that come to fruition, you never truly know. So, like, I am interested to see what's going to happen with it. I really am. Hoping Shady forces decks to play back row hate spells again. The thing is, and this is going to get into, like, a bit of a weird spot. As we're looking at it, we are starting to get to the point where we'll be playing other cards that just have, like, built in, like, back row hate. So a big one in the in OCG is this card. This is Justicia of the Dragonstorm, or Stream. So this is shuffle a Justicia of the Dragonstream or 4 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Destroy a face-down card on your opponent's spell trap zone. So this is a, like, just back row hate on legs that also shuffles, which is really, really good. And we'll start to get more and more cards. Like, this is an extreme example, but we're going to start to see more and more stuff like this. Like, for example, we were talking about this one just the other day, Full Orchestra the Music Fiend. This is just a card that send a card from your hand to the graveyard, destroy all face-down cards your opponent's spell and trap zone. Another good example of one that we could be getting soon is going to be our Salamander Fusion. Alchemicalized Salamandra, which is during the main phase of Skull Splash, summon destroy all spell traps on the opponent's field. So this is something that gets more and more common, where we start getting more and more monsters that can pop back row, rather than having to use the actual spell traps to actually get rid of them. Now, spell traps do still have their place, right? A good example of this was Over Rush Storm. Because this card specifically came back into the meta because, 1, it was generic. 2, it does let you shuffle cards from your graveyard back into the deck, which is actually quite a useful effect. And 3, it puts it to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So in the same way that we have the Worm back row hate, that specifically doesn't destroy it, it gets to the bottom, we start getting more and more cards that protect cards from being destroyed. So we'll get things like Ryozai. So we get cards like this, which is continuous effect, face up level 7 monsters on your field, and face down spell traps cannot be destroyed by card effects. So when we start getting cards like this that can protect your back row from being destroyed, people start looking to other means of getting rid of them that don't destroy. This is when, like, shuffling them away, returning them to the hand, all of these start of effects start to become more and more prevalent, right? So we will still see as we go forward, spell cards that get rid of back row be really, really good, such as Overrush Storm. But this card doesn't see play because it's back row hate. It sees play because it's back row hate that doesn't destroy, right? That's like the big takeaway. So, and Ryozai isn't an isolated case. There are a lot of cards that are going to come out that are going to protect our back row from being destroyed. So we're going to need more and more cards like Overrush Storm to deal with this. But because of that, generally if you have a card that pops back row, you don't bother having it in a spell card because you'd rather play something like this. So if you're going to have back row hate on a body, you're going to have things more like, you know, Alkalicali Salamander. Like this guy, who, like, it still is back row hate, but it's back row hate on legs, right? And this is theoretically the direction we're going to go in, because we're already in that trajectory, right? We're already heading that destination. So this is probably what we're going to see more likely. And this also does make sense as well, because we can interact with this, right? If my opponent plays, let's say, I don't know, let's say, like, if I can actually open this, apparently we're not allowed to, that's fine. If we play, let's say, Heavy Storm. Right? If I play Heavy Storm, my opponent doesn't get to react to this. Because if they have something that can be activated in response to Heavy Storm, because of the way that chains work, or lack of chains work, in Rush, Heavy Storm has to finish resolving, destroying everything, and now you have nothing that can resolve because it's no longer on the field, right? Whereas, if I summon Alchemicalize Salamandra, my opponent now gets a chance to use, like, a Shiny Shady, for example, to stop my back row, or to stop their back row from getting destroyed, because they can flip this down, right? So, in my opinion, cards like Salamandra here are healthier for the game, because they promote interaction, right? It's not just, I slam down Heavy Storm, I win. It's, okay, I'm doing a thing, response. Okay, I'm going to use my thing to stop you. Okay, now, assuming you've got the resources left, I'm going to see if I can extend and continue the play going, but if not, the trap's just going to end the turn, right? But that's kind of how I view it anyway. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. But the whole point is, if we do get Shady at either unlimited or at limit 2 or limit 3, any kind of number that's going to have a big impact on the meta, it should theoretically, like we say, it should incentivize people to play more back row hate, because stopping that trap card is going to be really, really impactful. But I think what is likely to happen is over the next few sets, we're going to get more and more, like, back row hate on legs. And we're going to start to try and phase out back row hate spell cards outside of when they have specific niches, like Overrush Storm. That is what I foresee. My favorite card, it's just so nice. An interesting way to force interaction. Yeah, well, it's because it's just like, there are some ways that you just don't get any interaction. Like, Jinzo is another big one. Like, Jinzo is kind of a big problem card. Because, like, you just tribute out a Jinzo. And, by the way, if you want to get Jinzo out effortlessly, you set a monster. Your opponent can't interact with you setting a monster. Then you tribute it for Jinzo. And now your opponent's trap cards don't work. And so now, if they've got an OTK tool... So the time when Jinzo actually saw the most play was Seven's Gears. Because you get out Jinzo, you then say, alright, you now cannot interact with me. I have turned you off for the turn. And then I'm going to get out my Seven's Gears. I'm going to use its effect, boost it up to like 7,000 attack that can attack twice, and the game's over, right? So that's why I've never personally been a big fan of Jinzo in Rush Duel. I've also never been a big fan of Heavy Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, or Giant Trunade, because again, they're uninteractable. You put it down and the game's over, and this is no longer a back and forth. This is now just a, I'm doing my thing, you're dead. Whereas, like, right now in Duel Links, we sort of have a similar situation to this, because we don't really have many trap cards. But instead of, alright, there's no interaction, I've won, it becomes, I'm going to try and kill you, and either you have a legend trap and you're alive, or you don't and you're dead. So right now, we're in a similar boat where there isn't a lot of interaction, but it now comes down to, like, have you got the one of? Now, there are some caveats to that. Like, for example, some people have been playing Executee Riding as a way to, like, sometimes stave off death from, like, an Eternal Galactic Oblivion. But for the most part, it is just kind of, do you have the legend trap? Yes, no. If yes, like, you live and I probably die. If no, okay, you're probably dead. So the hope is that with Shady introduced into the game becomes a lot more back and forth, becomes a lot more interactive. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see if that actually ends up being the case. I hope it does, but I don't want to just, like, make a bold-faced claim that's exactly what's going to happen until we've actually seen the data. But this is cool. This is really cool. I think if I was going to Worlds, and we have these rules ahead of us, if I'm taking Shady into account, my gut feeling is that Shiny Shady is going to... It's going to hurt some decks more than others. I think Light Galaxy is going to be fine. I think Light Galaxy is actually going to love Shiny Shady. Because it can use it as a defensive tool, as well as... Like, they won't like playing against Shady, but no one's going to like playing against Shady, realistically. So Light Galaxy is still going to be probably best deck, I would imagine. Hero is a weird one. Because Hero... I'm trying to think about this, like, logically, right? If we have Shiny Shady in rotation, what that's going to do is it's going to tax your opponent's limited number of cards, and it's going to make it really bad when you use it and it gets stopped. So, for example, for Hero, that will be like Miracle Fusion, right? Or, in some cases, that could also just be the actual Shining Flare Wingman itself. Like, if you summon out your Shining Flare Wingman, and then your opponent goes Shiny Shady, and then your guy gets flipped down, you've lost your Shining Flare Wingman, and you've lost your Miracle Fusion, right? Theoretically, in this hypothetical. So we've now lost one of our, presumably 2 Shining Flares from our extra, and we've had the ability to do a double Shining Flare play cut off now. So now we need to have a way to shuffle cards from our graveyard back into our deck if we want to have access to that again. And there's no way to recycle the Miracle Fusion itself, which also puts us in like another really weird situation. Light Galaxy might be in a similar spot. Right now, Light Galaxy decks typically are playing 2 copies of Eternal. But if you summon out Eternal, and your opponent Shiny Shady's it, you need at least 1 more Eternal to be able to push for the lethal line. But what if your opponent stops 2 of them? Let's say, for example, the norm becomes we're going to play 1 copy of Compulsory, 3 copies of Shady. Just every deck is now on these 4. That now means you can run out. Well, I suppose for Light Galaxy it won't matter, because Light Galaxy have the ability to shuffle cards back in. Oh, but can they, though? If we think about it, like, the only way that Light Galaxy shuffles cards back into their deck is with Eternal. If you summon 3 Eternals, and they all get, like, Shadied down, how do you recycle them? Like, you're just kind of out of recycles. I hope so too, though I really don't want Shady to be oppressive right away. I think it will depend on how limited it is, right? My fear is that they invent flip-up summon skills that will make Shady power crept. Ooh, that's a good shout, Desmume. If they start putting cards in that summon monsters face down defense, but then their battle position can still be changed. Because we do already have one of those, right? If I recall correctly. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure we have one for hitter, home run hitter. It's not that one. Here we go. Down here. Play from your face down defense position. Here you go. So this skill right here, this counters Shiny Shady. So there you go. Easy. We've already found the way to deal with it. I mean, you will know if they have Shady, so you can just go for the ship. Yes. But at which point you're now in a bit of a weird spot still, where you're like, well, now I have to go for ship, right? Because, like, if you know your opponent has a Shady, you now need to force Shady. And theoretically, you can't force Shady into summoning a turtle. Like, you can, but that's going to require so much investment. So, like, it's going to be another weird situation. And especially in the Light Galaxy mirror, you're sort of in a race, right? I'm going to try and OTK you before you OTK me. So now if you have Shady, but I don't have Shady, now you've set me back a turn, but I can't set you back a turn, right? So the game might just come down to that entirely. Surely Light Galaxy can just eat Shiny Shady with Plora. The thing is, I don't know if they're going to eat it with Plora or Plasma. We haven't, like, thought about this that much yet. Because, like, when it's getting it... When it comes to Compulse, it's obvious, right? You get rid of Plasma. Because if you put Plora back in their hand, they could just summon it again, right? If you get rid of Plasma, the card's just gone. Like, straight up. So when it comes to Plora, do you hit... So your opponent summons Plora. You then have to decide if you're going to flip it down. If you don't flip it down, they activate the effect, they add back Fusion, they add back a normal from the graveyard, which chances are it's going to be a Transam. They could then, they know you've got Shady, so they summon Transam, they fuse into Plasma. Now you're forced to flip it down. So, like, nothing really changes. So you might as well flip down the Plora. I don't think there's a negative to flipping down Plora. Light Galaxy doesn't love shit being face down, and gain 1500 life points from setting shit. I'm trying to remember. What is the life point cutoff for Shady? Because it comes up a lot, but usually when you're playing OCG, like, you're flipping down like 3000 attack guys, so it doesn't matter. 2600 or more attack. So if you wait for Plasma, you'll gain the 1500 life points. If you don't wait for Plasma, you won't gain the 1500 life points. Slow you down for sure, but that's basically what Compulse did before. Yes. I mean, Compulse a lot of the time just ended the game, right? Because you just get rid of their play, and then, like we say, I'm now a turn... I've set you back a turn, so now if you don't have the Compulse for me, I'm just going to kill you. These Compulse freed up space on your field. There is that. Yeah. I mean, fundamentally, Light Galaxy is going to be fine, right? Light Galaxy, I think, is going to have enough ways to deal with all of this, however it sees fit. E-Hero is in a similar boat, in that they have their own extra Plasma. He's just called Burst Wingman. But I feel like E-Hero, because they only have one copy of Miracle Fusion, that is what, like, hurts them a lot more. Might as well wait for Plasma to use Shady. Yes, I think that's going to make sense, because I think that extra 1500 life points might make the difference, especially because of how Light Galaxy works, right? They usually get to kill you just. Also, Shady can't flip Oblivion, so you can still make plays, even if they have it. You're not wrong, right? Because it won't flip normal monsters. So there will be some situations where you can just, like, play around it. I don't know how often those are going to come up, right? It's going to be a weird one. Because the only time it's going to matter, like, a lot, is going to be if your opponent doesn't have 3 monsters on the field. You can use freeze in combination. So, alright, technically, you could do that. I don't think people are going to... I would not expect people to allocate deck space for freeze when you're already going to have, like, Shiny Shady, the potential for, like, Execute Riding, you're going to have a Legend Trap. All of a sudden, we've got a lot of back row in the deck, and I don't know if we're going to want every trap under the sun in there. Freeze still sucks. Yeah, freeze has its place, right? It has some, like, some usability. I just don't know if this is going to be it. Because freeze, in the OCG specifically, saw a lot of play at very, very specific times. And then kind of got relegated and didn't really get to see much play after that. Basically, as soon as, like, Go Rush came out, freeze just didn't see any play at all in OCG. I mean, if we take a look at the other decks as well, Baseball. Like, how does Baseball deal with Shiny Shady? Like, I'm trying to think about this, right? Your opponent, like, I wipe the board, Dragonic Pressure, right? I do my line, summon, tribute both, summon out, Groundra, or whatever its new, I forget what its English name is. It's Grand Slam Dragon. So you put down Grand Slam Dragon, and then Shady, and then I just flip it down, and then Baseball, I feel like, loses a lot of its teeth. So I don't know how Baseball is going to perform if everyone's on Triple Shady and Compulse. Like, it might suddenly get really rough. Dragonic Pressure 2 Order? You're not wrong. At that point, then you're back to pray they don't have the legend, right? My bigger concern is freaking Metarian. You literally have no outs against them. Your concern is Metarian. Let me get up the Metarian stuff again. Let's just whip this out. We can talk about it a bit more in depth. Bearing in mind, we were supposed to be just touching on this briefly and then going on to speed, but apparently this is going on for a long time. So we have the Metarian stuff now. Does the Metarian stuff, like, have a massive-ish, like, concern? Like, it's like you summon a Star. Okay, that's a Shady target, right? A Star does get value from Shiny Shady. I mean, yes. I think that Metarian's going to be good. But I think, again, people are going to be thinking about this deck as like an OTK deck. And I don't know how OTK this deck is going to be. I think we might squeeze in the type Change Beam. But I don't know what Legend Trap we actually play in this deck now. Like, it's got to be, what, Trap Hole or Widespread. And then it just comes down to the matchups, because I feel like... Right, my gut is telling me that Trap Hole is probably going to be the way to go for this. Just because I think Red Boot is going to be in a bit of a weird spot with Shady in the meta. Which means you won't need that as much for the Red Boot matchup. Plus, Trap Hole is going to be really good into a lot of these decks. Trap Hole, a Actor. You can Trap Hole an Extraplorer. I mean, if we go back over here, right? So it's really good into there. E-Hero, there's not really a lot to Trap Hole, if we're being honest. E-Hero is probably the deck that is going to... You're going to really want Widespread for the most. It's always the issue, is Light Galaxy just doesn't care about Widespread. But, like, so many other decks do. I'd say we are just overestimating Shady. So, I get what you're saying, Joffia. I understand what you're saying. It's one of those things where my mind is always looking at this from, I've played with Shiny Shady in the OCG for, like, years at this point. So I know how strong this card is effectively in a different game, right? And because of that, my brain is immediately like, this card is absolutely busted. This card warps the meta around itself in OCG. Therefore, it should have a similar application in Duel Links. But there is no guarantee it's going to have that kind of impact. I still expect this to have a big impact, but I am still hesitant to say, is this going to completely warp the entire meta around itself? Also, hello, Jorfio. Hope you're having a great day. Just commit the limit 1 to it instead of TCB. I mean, you could. Compulse is just the best card, right? The only time Compulse is ever bad, literally ever bad, is into maximums. That is the only time Compulse is ever bad. But into maximums, it is practically useless. But then saying that, most trap cards are useless into maximums, right? Realistically, the only good trap, or the only good legend trap into maximums is negate attack, right? So, of course he's going to be playing Tax Dragon. I like Tax Dragon. I mean, I say that. I played Tax Dragon Limited once. And that was kind of my introduction into that. Maximums don't play into Shady either. Exactly. Maximums could be the way to go. If everyone's on 3 Shady and everyone's on Compulse, you could just build Maximums. The issue is, again, because of the way that Compulse works and because you can play it aggressively, you can still just use Compulse to get rid of the Maximum and then just attack in for game. Like, if you're playing like Light Galaxy, first off, you're playing Light Galaxy, you could probably just attack over the Maximum and kill them. But even if you didn't want to do that, you could just, like, summon a guy, activate Compulse if you're playing Compulse in Light Galaxy, get the Maximum out the way, and then just Eternal them in the face. Like, that is a completely viable strategy. Because the other issue is, like, just the rest of these cards. Like, I don't know if any of this is going to do anything, like, at all. Any opinion on the Tamerbot? Any chance we get a new Earth Machine skill? Right, so my feeling is, if we were going to get any skills with this product, we would have had them leaked. Now, that's not, you know, that's take that with a pinch of salt. That's my take. If we were going to get skills, we would know about it by now. We could, though, get skills with the next product, which could be a month away, right? Effectively, the next product we expect to get is going to be the big September update, right? So we'll be going to the end of August, and then they'll do like a big, like 2 mini boxes and 2 starter decks like they did for the Go Rush World. We'll do something like that. Like a big product drop is what we're expecting. Trap cards in Light Galaxy? Nah. I mean, trap cards in Light Galaxy, it is fine. I don't like anything more than just a Legend Trap in Light Galaxy. That being said, I think trap cards are fine in Light Galaxy. I think it's just not how I prefer to play it, because I'll always look at it as I want to get my combo off as soon as possible and as consistently as possible. But is the rest of the box just reprints? Yes! I mean, it's a deck build, so it's all just going to be reprints. It's all just going to be... There might be, like, some alt arts, right? That'll be it. Like, you might get some Overrush rare stuff. The thing is that Fusion is kind of mean too. Like, the effect is pretty bad, and the materials are also bad. Yeah. To be honest, if we didn't care about running 2 Tamerbot, you would just play this, right? You would just throw it in. But why would we want to play 2 Tamerbots? There's no, like, benefit for it. Did the Celestial skill leak ahead of their box? I don't know. Just in general, we tend to. I mean, we can go and have a look, right? Articles. Celestial. What was the box called? I should be able to find out. Divine Genesis Blade. So this came out October 23rd. How do we want to do this? If we go... So this was the day that stuff came out. There's the Yuri stuff. Dark Lord. Here we go. Yeah, so they came out here. So the leaks for the Celestial Warrior stuff came out on the 17th. And then the box itself came out on the 23rd. So we knew about a week beforehand. Power Bond Yuhi Fusions. I mean, again, we're getting very speculative, right? Good afternoon, Mr. Dinosaur, and good afternoon, Barox. Welcome on in. Yeah, so we knew a week ahead of time before that we were getting those skills. Again, we could do it again. We could, like, look at the other stuff. What's it called? The Grand... What's the box called? Infinite Grand Crush is the one. But I think it's safe to say that if we were going to get the skills, we'd probably know. I would expect, again, this is all we're going to get. I would expect it just to be these 7 cards. And then the next product drop after this is most likely, other than like individual cards, the actual product is probably going to be the big September update. That would be my expectation. Hi, Tomato God. Hello, John. Welcome, welcome. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm really curious. I'm really curious as to what decks the boys take. Obviously, we have one of our world's competitive in chat right now. Jorfio is obviously not gonna... He's not gonna spoil anything. He's not gonna leak anything. But I'm curious as to what Jorfio's thinking about what decks he wants to take. I'm really curious. I mean, I think it goes without saying everyone's taking Light Galaxy, right? And then it's like Hero, Baseball, Tearfing, Spellcaster are like safe bets. Red Boot is an interesting one. I really want to test Red Boot. I want to find out how Red Boot feels. Because I think Red Boot still could be a really strong one. Join Tech, there we go, Join Tech. Although Join Tech has yet to do anything, right? Have we seen Join Tech get any tops whatsoever? Has Join Tech had a top yet? Like, even a top 8. We'll take a top 8. Have we got anything at all from Jointech? I don't think so. Expecting Light Galaxy Heroes, Tearfing, Spellcasters, and Red Boot. The update says no boxes after or on the first are for Worlds. Reckon the box is on the first still, so it won't count. So on here, it specifically says, where is it? We go find it. Worlds. It specifically says, duelists cannot use any new cards, characters, and skills scheduled to be added to the game on or after August 1st at 2 PM. So as long as it comes out before 2 PM, it is legal, right? That is what we've taken away from this. And again, 2 PM JST. Underestimating Baseball. Baseball has been doing very well. Draw pressure or die. Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of the meta right now is in a similar boat, right? Like we're in... Please sort this out again. Light Galaxy. Draw Galactica Oblivion, or your deck doesn't work very well. Elemental Heroes. This is a bit of a weird one, because you can turbo through your deck so very quickly with so many different cards, but for the most part, you need to find Avian, or you don't get to play the game. Baseball, we need to find our big dragon. We also need to find our board wipe. We need to find both of those. Tearfing, this one's kind of fine. Like, we need to find Chrysaor, but, like, the skill gets turned on by, like, any normal, so that doesn't really matter. Spellcasters will play their game 100% of the time. They don't give a shit. It is so hard for Spellcasters to brick that this deck is always going to do exactly the same thing. Red Boot, this deck is open Red Boot, or don't really do a lot. And then Dark Galaxy Fusion, this is another one that's in a bit of a weird spot. You do still kind of need specific things. Like, a lot of the time it's going to be Profit. If you don't have Profit, you don't really get to do your combos. Spellcaster is draw custom hand or die. Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? But Spellcaster does get to basically do the exact same thing every single game. It's just the thing they do isn't as impressive as the top end of every other deck. If your opponent sets 2 monsters, you can OTK without drawing pressure. I mean, there is that. Isn't that a bit optimistic? I mean, sometimes all you need is optimism. Well, I actually think Spellcaster is the most bricky deck, which is weird to say. The issue is that you don't just need a skill target to play. You don't just need a skill target to play. I think it depends, right? If you're able to get if you open Witch, I guess if you open a skill target plus Strange Witch, your starting combo is fine no matter what, right? And because of the way the deck plays and the way the deck's built, you should be going into Charmy Witch like every turn. So like, I don't know. I've always felt like I've never really struggled to get Spellcaster to do Spellcaster things. The thing I struggle with is like actually closing the game as Spellcasters, right? Underdogs will be Pyro, Cybersec, Cans. What else? Okay, I'm trolling. Also, I think I'm certain. I'm also certain we'll play casters. Though I'm. Okay. Pyro best deck true. It's a weird one. Dark Galaxy seems more copium. A lot of these decks are copium, bro. It comes down to like even Light Galaxy in a lot of ways is kind of cope. It's so much less cope to get it to work. Because like, again, Light Galaxy, if you're playing this deck and you just never find Eternal, if like all of your Eternals are at like the bottom 5 cards of your deck, you're not going to have a great game. You're probably going to lose that game. But the number of ways you have to get to that combo piece, or that key piece of like turning the skill on, is so plentiful that like you're just going to easily be able to get it eventually, right? Hero's in a similar boat, except like to a much lesser degree. Hero, you have to rely on like the other weird cards on the side. Hey, is that Sora Mia I see in the chat? Welcome, welcome with the balls. Price or OTK is easier to pull off, IMO. Again, what are we saying, right? What are we specifically saying? Are we saying that a deck is easier to win the game with, or it's easier to get all the pieces you need to attempt to win the game? Because I think those are two different things. I think bringing Tearfing Sack to Worlds is not a great idea. I think, right. My honest opinion, there are going to be 8 Rush players at Worlds. I am predicting at least 3 of them are going to bring Tearfing. I think enough people are going to be like, this deck can just kind of win the game. I'm going to play this. So that's my prediction. At least 3. At least 3, I think, are going to bring it. Most people obviously know they got to play around Tearfing Sack. I mean, yeah, but sometimes playing around it doesn't save you from it. That's the thing, right? If your opponent just goes like, I don't know, like summon Chrysaor, then also summon out a Requiem, and then summon out another big guy, they could just kill you over one monster. That could happen. I don't know what the Japan meta is. I mean, if you want to see what like a lot of the JP bros are doing, just look at the walls, right? The team walls. Because like JP bros are playing in there, right? One thing I will say, JP bros seem to really, really like spellcasters. That seems to be their cup of tea. I'd say almost all of them bring it. Almost all of them. I think it... I mean, there is potential. There's definitely potential. Like, we don't know what's going through the heads of all of the Worlds players. Like, they're going to have, like, behind-the-scenes talks with teams and stuff, and they're going to have, like, ideas of what they're going to be doing. I can't wait to see Dark Galaxy being full of limits and Light Galaxy get another light slap afterwards. Yeah, Alright. All honesty, right? Light Galaxy is overtuned right now. Everyone knows that. Everyone understands that. The Light Galaxy deck is still kind of fun. It's still a really cool deck. It's interesting. It rewards good play. It's a good deck. My issue is that it's just so much better than every other deck, right? Realistically, the deck should have got a little slap on the wrist. It should have gone down a little bit. But I like it being one of the best decks in the game. I know how we can know what's in World Player's head. Tell us your secret, Giorgio. I mean, yeah, that's one way. Just keep nagging Giorgio until he spills the beans, I guess. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here, though. Because the other thing is, the World's players let's say, right, hypothetical, right? This new box, our leaks, they come out on Friday. Let's just hypothetical, right? That happens. The world's players now have 1 week to finalize their decks and playing with these brand new cards. Now, some of them aren't going to have too much of an impact. These three probably aren't going to do a ton. Maybe Matarian is like, you know, these three cards could matter in terms of learning matchups, and maybe you want to bring this as a deck. Shiny Shady is such a massive card. This could change the way that you do ratios. Are we including traps in decks we wouldn't include traps in before? Like, there is just so much that Shiny Shady just, like, uproots the meta, potentially. Again, it could do nothing. It could change literally nothing. There is a chance that happens. But you, as a Worlds player, you have to test it, right? You have to work out if this is going to have a massive change. It's almost 3 weeks. Oh, I thought it was 1 week till you had to have the decks submitted. I thought it was the 7th. Joffrey was going to tell us Restoration Cessa, tactical card. Okay, well, that makes it a lot better then. Because that means you'll have, what, 3 weeks? Well, 2.5 weeks, I guess? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I guess that means you won't be too long. That's what, a week before you head out? Just over a week? It would be crazy to give them only 1 week. Well, that's what I thought was happening, and that's why I was like, this is insane. This world's going to be nuts, and I'm happy Worlds players get to play 3 tactical cards in Rush. Yeah. Part of me does think Fusion kind of has to be a tactical card. No, it doesn't have to be, but I think it is going to be. Shiny Shady is probably going to be a tactical card. If it's, again, going under the assumption it's not limited. Like, I don't see Shady not being a tactical card. 2 tactical cards because 1 mandatory is going to be Fusion. There we go. See, Toti knows, Toti knows. I'm follow the trend. I'm done with Rush Duel. Nice. Good for you, Kim friend. The question is, what is the third one? I mean, again, assuming it's... I mean, Luis Fernando might be right. It could just be Starry Start, because we... Assuming we're playing Heroes and we're playing Metarian, Starry Start does make sense. Secret Order. Yeah, Secret Order's the other one. Because we're going to want it in Light Galaxy. We're also going to want it in Baseball. How does it work with this? If only 1 or 2 copies of selected card are available in Tame, or if it's limit 1 or limit 2. Or only 1 or 2 copies are available. So that doesn't matter. So you can just use 3 of it in whatever. Even if it's limited. Even if it's limit 3. So you still just could play 3 of it in Baseball. It's just Baseball though, right? It's just Baseball? Like, you're not playing anything else, are you? Throwing Light Galaxy, Tier Thing, Baseball, Red Boot, and Join Tech, and you don't need Fusion as your tactical card. So then the question becomes, what are you replacing your tactical card with Fusion with, right? So now, let's say we have Shiny Shady as our first tactical, and our second one is Secret Order. What is your third now that you don't need it on Fusion? You could go like XQT Riding. You could go Curse of the Rising Light. What do you mean we don't need Fusion? So, in this hypothetical that Dwan has posted above, trying to work out where it is for you. It's over there somewhere. When we don't need Fusion as a tactical, right? Yeah, but look at Dwan's message. There's no hero in there. hello, Hunter. Welcome on in. I mean, I think, as for right now, it's pretty clear that Hero is going to be in most people's Worlds lineups, right? Lightning Bringer / Gaz Thunder One / Whispering Fairy or Clayman. What on earth are we talking about here, Desmime? Where are we going with this? In that case, it's Phoenix Dragon. Ooh, Phoenix Dragon. Phoenix Dragon with that lineup. So you want it for Red Boot and for Baseball. I respect that. I respect that. Part of me was like, man, we're going to bring out... Oh, what's it even called? We're going to bring out Dragon Fusion. We're going to bring out, like, Dragius back to Worlds. I think that is probably the saddest thing, is there's going to be no Dragius at Worlds this year. Unless someone, like, surprises us. Like, Dragius is iconic, and he's just not here. Like, to me, Dragius is the rush card. I mean, I'm kind of glad he's not here, because his deck's kind of toxic, but still. Just like last year. You're not even wrong. He wasn't even there last year. Was he there in anyone's deck? Like, at all? I don't think it was. Like, in anyone's deck. Dragius never got to Worlds. Feels bad. Not impossible, to be honest. It's not impossible. I just don't know. I just don't see it. We're in ads. Damn it, ads. Right, we're going to let the ads go away. And then we'll get back to yapping again. Yeah, but don't forget my old friend Buster Blader. The world champion played that card. Instead of Dragius, I consider Prima-Gatana missing, as side chicks were on last Worlds. I mean, last year we had. Wait, let's we can like fill this out, right? We'll do it over here somewhere. Last year we had Psychic, we had Cybers, we had Machines, we had Royal Rebels. And then we had, like, the other ones, right? There was, like, Blue Eyes White Dragon / Monarch. There was Noodles. There was SAR, Spellcasters. Buster Blader. We'll throw that in, I guess. Like, these were kind of the decks that were at Worlds. This year, we're expecting to see, you know, Light Galaxy, maybe Dark Galaxy, E-Heroes... Maybe Matarian, maybe Baseball. What have I immediately forgotten? Maybe Join Tech, why not? We'll put it on the list. What else are we expecting? Spellcasters, Red Boot, I like the other two. So this is sort of what we're expecting. Max. Arco was there technically. You're not wrong. Bubble Era was there. It was in Zeta, I believe, was playing Bubble Era. Dragius can clap heroes, just saying. I mean, anything can clap heroes. Sidra, Red Boot, Tier Thing. I mean, we're just going to have Tier Thing and Dark Galaxy as one deck for now. Like, just for the terms of making this look kind of nice. Join Tech, Keck, wait. Listen. Join Tech get to be included, okay? We all love the Join Techs. Sidra 2 Cope. Bro, I was playing Worm Max. It was my 5th deck. It even went 2-2. We'll put it in. We'll put it in. I'm trying to think, like, when's the last time we saw Worm Max doing much of anything? Let me go over here. If I go over here, we go other. We go to... Jorfio, you play too many tournaments, my friend. Okay, look at how many pages of tournaments there is here for across both formats. There you go, Dynamic Gem Builder. Dinos! Maximum Excavator, top 4, top 2. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. Really, Jointech? Y'all don't know the Jointech potential. Buster Blader. Before, like, Galaxy Fusion came out. This was before... Was this before Worlds? I don't know when this was. July 26th. It's a shame that none of your stuff's on there. It's probably the same list. Knowing you, Giorfio, and the way that you like to just leave your lists as perfect immediately, I can understand that. Look at this. It's ludicrous. Like, compare this, by the way, to, like, mine, right? We go to... Look at how small this little section is. There's just nothing going on here. It's like a little baby section. Although I think I did play... Yeah, Maximum Excavate. I did play this, what, April 6th, 2025. The good old days. The good old days. Look at Quantum. Oh, that's a good shout, actually. Yeah. Top 10 regional. Got a bunch of rush finishes. Bean Dish Gourmet recipe. He has like 2 tournament tops and a world champion. He's got a lot. Oh, he's got 10 top 4s. That's pretty good. Which ones are these? Which one's CT? That's just community tournaments. That's completely unhelpful. Ten top 4s. Yeah, 10 top 4s. There you go. We can see that Giorfio has how many top 4s? 50. 50 top 4s. I've got 5. No, top 4s. I got 12. Just comparing us for no reason. Were they all from Rush? Top 4, top 4, top 4. Top 4. Top 4, top 4, top 4. It looks like they might all be from Rush. Top 16, top 4. Raging Pendulum! We got speed. We have a speed deck. Raw bros. Raging Pens. How do you check this? You just go to search, you go to other, and then you just search the user. So I could search Pro Manicust, for example. And then bam. Tells me all of your... Don't forget as well, I will say, this isn't necessarily every tournament you've been in. Some tournaments don't get uploaded. So in those situations, some of your data may be missing. Memeless Draguni, Raging Pen with extra deck mill. It's beautiful. God, we have so much stuff open. Wait, Gaia, any chance this deck can make a comeback with Metarium returns? No, I don't think so. I think it's a cool idea to be like, oh, you know, we could bring Gaia back, but like, realistically, the deck's just like in such a rough spot. God, you can really tell when I just started memeing in all these tournaments. Fucking Kime Luna, Chivalrous Celerity. Here we go. Ah, my boy, my boy, my goat. I wish tourneys were oceanic friendly for me to join. Yeah. Hello, by the way, Duel Links Alpha. We should give a shout out to Alpha. Shout out. If I can type it. Duel Links Alpha. Bam, we got it. We got it. Yeah, it kind of sucks. There's some tournaments aren't EU friendly as well. Like, a lot of the tournaments, they start at really weird times for me as well. Even Quantum's tournaments, I do try to enter them when I can, but they start at 10 PM for me. And because I generally have to be up early, it means that, like, if I play in a Quantum tournament, I'm really committing to it because I'm basically sacrificing sleep to do so. So it's like I have to make that trade-off. It's like, are we sleeping? Are we playing card games? Can we play together? Kime isn't a meme. I won with it. I mean, yeah, I got a top 4. Definitely still a meme, though. Now, I've never been able to get into a tournament because they are either always like 1 to 2 AM starts or like 9, 10 AM weekdays. Yeah, I can understand why. That does kind of suck. The best you could probably do is enter like the Japanese tournaments. But even that's not going to be great. Like, I know that the Japanese Rush tournaments we used to enter would start at 1 PM for me. Although sometimes it was 12. Which would be, that would be 10 PM for you. But like, again, one that's a Rush tournament. I don't know. I assume they do other tournaments around the same time. There was an Angel Cup at 8/9 EST. All tournaments are midnight for me, Bedge. Yeah, but Mono, I still don't understand how your body clock works, mate. Like, you're like playing, you're like hosting a tournament, or you're running your own tournament, and you're like, yeah, it's like 4 AM. I'm like, I mean, you've chosen to do this at this time. I mean, we love you for it. We do love you for it. Angel Cup Bros. Hello, Bismuth, by the way. Welcome, welcome. But now, stop, rip Angel Cup. Rest in peace. Or Angel Cup. I'd get shit mixed in the Japanese tournaments. Yeah, but you have to get bullied to get used to getting bullied, so that then you can like get better or whatever, right? Because like a lot of the time, people are just memeing as well. Like in the Japanese tournaments, it's not like everyone is taking it super seriously. Like one of the first Japanese tournaments I played in, I went against a guy who was just hard memeing. Like his deck was just complete garbage. And like that happens in every tournament, right? Rest in peace, Angel Cup. Happy and Monos usually start at 8 PM, so at least there is that. Yes. That's something that's also quite good for me with Hikari's tournaments. When Hikari does the Galaxy Rush, usually, because they're singular limb, and they start at like 7, I can get that finished before like 10 PM usually. So that's usually like, it's on a good day as well, because Saturday is generally my day off, so like Saturday works really well for me usually. Moki Bros, he was so pissed he didn't qualify. I mean, understandably, right? If you put your all into it and you don't get it, it really sucks. I mean, there's a lot of people that were in a similar boat. A lot of people that were in a similar boat. I'd be like Cyrus, but IRL. That's fine, though. Because, again, the whole point is you just have a good time. And one nice thing with Japanese players is, at least, alright, I've only really experienced the Japanese players from the Rush point of view. But they're all so nice. They're all so polite. They're all like, thank you for making the room. Like, you'll kick their shit in. Like, you'll absolutely dominate them in like a really unfair one-sided game. And they'll be like, thank you for playing with me. And you're like, bro, you don't have to be this polite. It's fine. But like, they're super, super chill. Whereas like, I'll like beat someone in a speed tournament in like an acceleration gate tournament or a grand tournament or something, and I'll get flamed by my opponent, or they'll just completely blank me, and I'll just be like, yep, I missed the Japanese already. So I can say they're lovely to play with. They're really, really lovely to play with. They're all really, really polite. They're all really, really nice. You got lucky, Lamau. That's the best thing, though. The thing is, though, whenever I do beat someone in a tournament, I always try to be like, when someone has just lost a game, right? They are never in a great space mentally, right? Now, if you're like a very strong mental person, right? If you have a very strong kind of mental fortitude, you can lose a game and be like, oh, that was still a really good game. Thank you very much. Extend the handshake, etc., etc. There are some people though that when they lose, they don't want to hear you say GG. They don't want to hear you say anything. They don't like you right now because you've just beaten them. So I always try to like, you just kind of let them go. You're like, whatever you want to say, that's fine. I will even, like, if you say, oh, you got really lucky there, I'm like, 100% bro, I sacked you. It was entirely my fault. Like, you know, you'll get him next time. It's whatever, it's fine, right? Because at the end of the day, one, you've already won, so you don't need, like, gratification. You won the game. You don't need anything else beyond that. You're already in a good mood. You've won. They're already in, like, probably not a great mood, so you just, like, give them whatever they want. It's fine. If they're being, like, super obnoxious, super rude or whatever, that's one thing. A lot of the time, they're just going to be like, oh, man, my hand was bad. If I had done XYZ, I could have won. And then at that point, I'm like, yeah, man, like, if you had just drawn a little bit better, you would have absolutely won that. I drew a really good hand, and absolutely, like, there's nothing you could have done, like, realistically. So I always try to, like, be really nice to them. That's what I try to do anyway. Hi, can you react to FTK YouTube video? Probably not, Quicksave. We're kind of in a bit of a yappy bit at the moment. I'm the one that hard memes in tourneys and rush most times. I want to test what has synergy, and I'm usually happy with Discover. I think that's one of the things as well. There are some people that don't play to win. They play to discover. And I think that kind of player is really, really valuable, because it does make it really, really enjoyable. Because the guy that you're playing against is happy because they won, and you're happy because you got to show off your cool thing, or you get to experiment with something. So everyone kind of comes away from it a winner, which is really good. When you have two people that just really, really, really want to win, and losing makes them unhappy, someone always comes away unhappy, right? You got lucky, Lamel. It's at this point, I'm aware that Mono just doesn't sleep at all. Exactly. A good player knows when to be humble. Stimmy Bros Giorgio bullied us on ... Well, unfortunately, again, my bot will not allow you to post links, but it is what it is. I saw, was it Stimmy was playing against Jorfio in Farfa's duel room? That's a really weird pull that I'm just like getting there, but I'm pretty sure that happened. Either that, or I just saw both the names near each other during that. I'll fight you. I'll beat me. Just don't spin plates, or I'll cut you. Spinning plates as well, I think it's fine as long as you're not doing it deliberately. If someone hasn't done the math and they're just still comboing off, whatever, right? If you know I'm dead and you're just like taunting me, I'm like, just kill me. Just put me out of my misery already. Pepe spit on hand. Hold out hand, say put her there, pal. Real. GG is weird because you sack your opponents. GG sounds like an insult. Yes. That's why I don't GG my opponent unless they GG me. If ever I win against my opponent, I won't say anything unless they say something to me. Because if I say anything, that is like an excuse then to snap at me. But if I just don't say anything, it's now up to them to say, like, if you GG me, I'll GG you back, right? That's generally how I do it. Unless it's someone I, like, know very closely. In which case, it's fine. I'll just say whatever. Like, we're basically friends, right? Just embrace the toxicity. And on that note, I must sleep. GG, friends. Thanks for stopping by, Alpha. Do always appreciate it. You're correct. Quant, Dwan, Grand, Stimmy, Icy were in Farfa Room yesterday. Yeah, I was in Farfa Room yesterday as well. I played one game. I played a single game in Farfa's room. I played dinosaurs because I hadn't played anything else in God knows how long. I made a misplay and I won. It was fun. I also got to play against the birds. Crap, what are they called? Lyrilisk. I played against Lyrilisk. Which is quite an easy game for dinos, so I didn't have to worry about it too much. Statistically, we're all going to lose more than we win, so nobody's going to be upset losing all the time unless they're getting BM'd, trolled, or the meta is just bad. I think that's fair. I do think that is fair. But it's one of those things, right? If you can make someone else's day just a little bit better, why not, right? That's kind of how I look at it. Like, people are gonna get frustrated. People are going to get upset. People are going to get... Even if it's just momentarily, right? I've had some games where you feel really, really angry for like 3 seconds. And then like 2 seconds afterwards, you're just completely fine. It just doesn't matter. It's whatever, right? But sometimes you can't help how you feel. And the way I look at it is just try and help out your fellow man, right? And again, like I say, the Japanese bros, they're just always so pleasant to be around. They're always just so pleasant. They're always just so nice. They always have their pleases, their thank yous. They're always very kind of gracious in how they speak to you. It's lovely. It really is lovely. But with that said, we've been yapping quite a lot, and we can start closing a lot of this stuff as well. We were talking about world decks. So what out of this is going to come like twice, right? We've got spellcasters. This was their last... I mean, to be fair, spellcasters wasn't there in like a big way, but it was there, right? Other than that, nothing else is like making a return realistically, is it? I don't think we're going to see machines. Unless we count like Join Tech, and even then I don't know if Join Tech's going to be there. Royal Rebels? Do we think there's a chance Royal Rebels goes to Worlds this year? I mean, it would be cool. I don't think it's likely. It might just be spellcasters. I think only 2 people took spellcasters last year. Metarian didn't come out until afterwards. Probably no chance. I want to believe... The thing is, even if the Shiny Shady trap card has like a massive impact, I don't think it's going to affect Royal Rebels that much. And it doesn't play very well with Royal Rebels either, which is also like a weird one. Thank you for the hard work. No. Maybe one player plays the 5th deck if they forget about Red Boot or Baseball existing. I mean, potentially, right? Potentially. Right, I'm going to close some of this stuff down. Alright, I guess we'll quickly yap about some of the other little bits and bobs. And the first thing I did want to talk about is this. Shadowverse. I know a lot of people don't play Shadowverse, but I just wanted to quickly touch on this. It's almost here. Take 2 Arise Worlds Beyond with the update on August 4th. So, a couple of days away. I believe this is... Craft a deck for battle, 1 card pair at a time. Try out the maintenance. So this is like drafting for Shadowverse, which is kind of cool. So this is going to be like, yeah, like Arena if you've played like Hearthstone. It's going to be like that, which is going to be kind of cool. I think that's going to be neat. I'm looking forward to that. There's also Ziff is a player that like keeps track of the meta and keeps track of like data, which is really, really cool. So we had that massive tournament that had a bit of a shit show. So I guess we'll talk about this quickly right now. There was a massive tournament that had like 2,000 people sign up, called the Shadowverse Open. And it had so many controversies, so many issues. The entire thing took like 14 hours to finish. It was a just complete and utter shit show. Complete and utter shit show. That being said, some of the, the decks did get posted and we can like see them here. And there's some really cool stuff here. So this is the players that qualified, right? So if we go and take a look at the lineups, we can see how many people brought each deck. So, for example, 244 people brought both mid-range sword and spell boost rune. That's kind of like how to read this, which is interesting. If we go to the decks specifically, we can say that 634 people brought mid-range sword, 633 people brought spell boost rune. Not too surprising. I think for the most part, everyone agrees that these are the best decks. Can you share the Twitter? Yeah, we can post that. We can post that. So this is Ziff. So Ziff posts videos, I believe, which are like updating, like doing his thoughts on the meta. But more than anything, he is the tournament guy, right? He is I'm going to go around and gather all the data from all of these different events going around and then compile it into spreadsheets like this, which I could appreciate that. But there's some like really cool stuff in here, right? But then as you can see, after these two, there's a massive drop off, right? Mid-range Abyss and Artifact Portal are so much further down. And then a bit of a smaller drop off, but still a drop off. Aggro Abyss, Roach Forest, Wardhaven, Puppet Portal. And then everything under Puppet Portal, I would consider this like very rogue, I guess. Like, just not really seeing any play at all. But, again, this is raw data. This is just how many people played each deck, right? This is conversions. So this is the bigger percentage here, the more decks converted to playoffs. Bearing in mind, playoffs is a bit weird because they haven't done playoffs yet. The way that this tournament worked is it was a 10 rounds of Swiss, and then everyone that qualified is going to be doing the playoffs like next week, sort of thing. So it's like a really long tournament. Technically, the tournament's still going. It's really weird. Hey, Sean. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I didn't know you play Shadowverse? Yeah, we've been playing Shadowverse since the start. We've been streaming it quite a lot as well. What I should probably do as well is actually sort this out so it actually looks a little bit better on here. What's the best way to do this? Probably with it. There we go. That looks a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. But hey, Sean. I should give Sean a shout out, actually, because it's something we don't do very often. Shout out. Sean, Matt, try. Bam. There it is. There it is. Yeah, you're going to have to tell me what deck you've been playing as well, Sean, actually. I'm actually really curious. Swordcraft is so unfair sometimes. A lot of cards have storm/board swarms without even evolving. Yes. The thing I actually think is the most bullshit is their new legend that can super evolve itself if you get Rally 20, I think it is. And it's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I've been playing mid-range Sword. No! Everyone's been playing Sword. Like, everyone's been playing Sword. Yeah, Gildaria. So I'm a bit of a weird one. I haven't been playing, like... My favorite deck right now, I suppose I should say, is Wardhaven. I think Wardhaven is so much fun. But I do think it's quite bad. Like, my main deck at the moment is Artifact Portal. Which, you know, was the best deck last set, right? So... I'm horrible, super tired, and hungry, and bad stomach. Well, that's not ideal, Victor. That's not ideal. But I hope you're having a good day, other than that. Honestly, the only reason I did is because I played the game a week ago, and that's what I first got. I had no idea. I mean, Sword is fantastic. Sword is... It's relatively simple to play, but still can be very rewarding to play. I think that is a very different distinction between some of the easier decks and some of the like more intricate decks. I think Sword can be easy to play, but also can be extremely rewarding, and you can get punished for making mistakes, and I think that is a very like telling of a good deck. Sword is also very... What's the word? It's not overly complex, right? It still requires some thought to pilot, but it's not... You're not sat there doing like crazy mathematics in your head or trying to see all these crazy lines. For the most part, you put things on board, and then on board things do things, right? It's nothing like too insane, which is why I think it's like such a good deck just for anyone to pick up. It's such a good deck, and it's obviously really, really strong. And I think it's one of those decks that it's going to be really difficult for Sword to not be good. Like, I feel like Psy Games have to really try to make Sword a bad deck if they don't want it to be like an actual meta threat. Yes, Tomato will prefer us play Spell Boost Rune. No! Get rid of Spell Boost Rune! I also hate Rune. Portal is a bit short-stuffed, this format, but they still have their puppets. Portal, I think, is actually fine. Artifact Portal is a fine deck. The issue I have with Artifact Portal now is some players are just going all in on beta spam. And I think beta spam is so boring. Like, I think it is actually the most boring shit in the entire game. I hate beta spam so much. No, not having a good day. Otherwise, I've been stuck on a toilet. Well, you know, at least you have access to the bathroom. You know, it could be worse, is I guess what we're going with that. I'm playing Havencraft since day 0. It's very hard to win, to be honest. I'm B0, and I win like 1 out of 5 games. I think Wardhaven is very fun. And the deck can perform really, really well. The issue is... my biggest complaint with Wardhaven is... Right, so some people will say, like, oh, if you don't have Will built on turn 6, the deck doesn't work. That is a complaint. That is fair. I don't think that is the biggest issue of Wardhaven. I think the biggest problem Wardhaven has right now is it feels undertuned compared to the other top-tier decks. Now, I don't think that means Wardhaven is undertuned full stop. I think that means the decks that are really, really, really powerful are really, really overtuned. And by comparison, Wardhaven feels like it's being left behind, right? I think mid-range Sword, most of the time, is going to shit on Wardhaven. Spellboost Rune, most of the time, is going to shit on Wardhaven. Roach Forest, hey, we win that one. We can beat the shit out of Roach Forest. That one's fine. Artifact Portal, this is a bit of a weird one. I would say Artifact has the advantage over Wardhaven, but like not as much of a lead. And then I think both Abysses are also really good into Wardhaven. So like Wardhaven's in a really weird spot where most of the decks that are above it just kind of beat it and like absolutely bully it. And that puts it in like a really weird spot. Your title is a lie. There's been no playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2 hours. Listen, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Sword is also rewarding to tinker with your deck list, almost because it has too many good cards. Yes, Sword, I think, almost card for card, has the highest value per card in all of Shadowverse. Like, there are some cards from other classes that do have higher value per card, but they don't have the quantity that Sword has. And that's where Sword is, like, absolutely nuts. I think the most broken thing is Godaria. Yes, I agree with that as well. That's awesome, bro. You play 2. I'm halfway to A. I'm B2. I'm B2 as well, actually. My issue is, my biggest complaint with the game is I just don't have enough time to play it. I, for the most part, am spending so much of my free time doing, like, work stuff or, like, using the small few hours I have in the day to, like, speak to friends or hang out with people that I have like so little time to actually play Shadowverse. That's my biggest annoyance, is I just want to play it more and I just can't, right? I just don't have enough hours in the day. And because of that, I don't think I have played a ranked game of Shadowverse in like 4 days. And I would used to be playing tons of it every single day, but I just can't at the moment. Wardhaven equals Albert or lose? Wilbert. So Wilbert, again, I think that's like a side problem, right? If the problem that I have is you'll have some games where you'll be playing Wardhaven and you'll have like, turn 2, we'll drop a 2-drop ward, right? Turn 3, we'll drop the, I forget what his name is, the 2/3 ward that gives you the emblem or whatever it is. And then, like, turn 5, you'll get, like, Saphira down, and then that'll wipe your opponent's board. And then turn 6, you'll play Wilbur. And you've curved out basically as well as you could have. And then you still get your shit pushed in because the deck's just not strong enough. That is the issue I have. And I think that is the problem that a lot of the weaker decks have at the moment, is even if everything goes right, for, like, mid-range Sword, Spell Boost Rune, Artifact Portal to a lesser extent, but still, mid-range Abyss and aggro Abyss, you'll just get your shit pushed in. And that's where Wardhaven falls apart for me a little bit. I feel like Wardhaven needs, like, maybe just a little bit more draw power, and it needs a bit more just, like, power. Haven can't control the board nor aggro because Storm is rare in the deck. Yes, that is fundamentally what it comes. I don't even think it needs to be Storm. I think what I would give Wardhaven is I would give them more rush tools. Because you don't want Storm, because Storm just is go face, right? But if you had just rush, you can now clear your opponent's board. And that's what Storm, or that's what Wardhaven wants to do. You want to control your opponent's board so that you're always in a situation where you're not just able to just randomly die out of nowhere. That's the whole point of playing a deck where every card has ward, right? I think the thing about Sword is it's such good early game, it makes it a threat. Yes. Well, that's the thing. Even if you go late with Sword, your late game is also insane. It's like, your late game isn't as insane as, like, Ramp Dragon. You're not as insane as Roach Forest. It's not as insane as Spell Boost Rune. But it's not like mid-range Sword, like, falls off late. It's just still really good late. It's just they also have a really good early and a really, really, really good mid. Prim, Valse, Luminos, all very good value early game and can force you to clear, or they can take off and set up Zirconia. Yes. Well, that's the issue. Well, that's not really an issue. But, like, I've been in a lot of situations playing against mid-range Sword where they kind of run out of cards and they kind of have nothing left. And then they'll just, like, start drawing cards out of nowhere. They'll put a card down, it's like, oh, add 2 followers from your deck to your hand. They'll put down, like, Olivia and just immediately draw another 2. Or they'll just, like, be top decking, and every card they top off the deck is, like, an absolute banger. It'll be like, oh, just draw a card off the top. Oh, it's the Godonia or whatever her name is that just immediately super evolves. Or, oh, I drew a card off the deck. Oh, I'll play this. It's the 8-drop that summons a whole board of guys and buffs them all. And it's just like, bruh, stop. You've run out of cards. You're top decking. You're supposed to have run out of gas. How do you still have so much gas? The problem you have is you yap more than play the game. That is a problem I will always have forever and ever and ever. There's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. Wardhaven loses to Bane easy, which means Puppet just wreck them. I mean, Puppet in general, the whole point of Puppet, the entire premise behind Puppet, is to wipe your opponent's board every single turn. Like, that is kind of what they do. They want to spam out guys that either, like we say, they have Bane, or they just spit out a load of 3/3s, and they just want to run that entire thing into your board again and again and again and again until you have nothing left. That's kind of, like we said, the Puppet strategy. On the other note, Abysscraft, I noticed people having love/hate with Phil enjoying this Enhance 5 Evolve. Last word, deal 4 unit. In place, doesn't force Evo points. Can clear multiple units. Who is Phil? I'm already, like, lost. I'm already lost on Phil. T5 play. If Gravy isn't in the hand or doesn't make sense given the board state. I still don't know what Phil is. We love that about Tomato, though. He gives us amazing analysis. I mean, I like to think there's good analysis sprinkled in there, but for the most part, it is yapping. Thoughts on Odin? Too strong or too generic? I think Odin is the best card in the latest set. Odin is, in my opinion, too strong. Because he's generic. If Odin was attached to a specific deck, I wouldn't care. Because Odin is generic, every single deck can play him, he is overtuned. I personally would like to see him lose Storm. Give him Rush instead, that's fine. But having him with Storm means your opponent, or even you, because I've done the exact same thing. I have won so many games off of Odin that I would have lost if I did not have Odin, because Odin is busted, right? You can just slam it down as a just 7 burn spell that gets a ward out of the way from your opponent, which is like ridiculous, right? So a lot of the time, you'll be sat there just like pinging damage wherever you can and just being like, I just need to get you just low enough that I can kill you with Odin. Now, to be fair, that's kind of what Shadowverse is. A lot of what the game is I need to keep my opponent's life just low enough that my kill turn can kill them. So for Roach Forest, that can be anywhere from like 12 to like 22, right? Because Roach is Roach. But for a lot of other decks, it changes, right? If you're playing like Artifact and you're playing, you know, if you're playing Orcus, for example, the magic number is now, what, 8? Yeah, it's 8. Right? If you get your opponent at 8, you can just kill them at any point with Orcus. If you are playing Artifact and you want to get out the Gundam, that's now 13. So if you get your opponent at 13, you can now kill them from that. If you're playing mid-range Sword, I think it's 13 as well, because it's 12 damage. So it's 3 on Albert. Albert gets +3 and he can attack twice. That's 12. I think it's 12 then for Sword. I forget the exact numbers. It's been a while. Like I said, I haven't played a ton recently. Phil is okay, but using an evolve to kill. Phil Dow. Right, Phil Dow. Right. Yeah, Phil Dow is also really, really good. But again, it's good just because it's generic, not because of anything else, really. 2/2 gold evolve. Odin is really good, but I think you can debate that Godaria is. She is such a huge booster sword. Yes. The thing is, though, because she's a card that is intrinsically tied to sword, I think it's less... To me, it's less Gildaria OP and more sword OP. Whereas when Odin's good, I'm just like, damn, that card is way too strong. Right, but at some point, you've got to play more. Would you rather get on a plane flown by someone who's flown it a lot successfully, or have someone who's read a lot about a plane, like a parrot flying you? What the thing is, right, Manicus, your analogy is immediately flawed, because I do play these games a lot. It's just I'm not playing it right now when I'm on stream, because right now is when I'm having a conversation, right? I can't have a conversation when I'm on my own, but I can play the game when I'm on my own. So when I'm in a open kind of area where we can have a discussion, it's sometimes more fun to have the discussion that I can't have on my own with all of you while you're here, right? And that's the other issue. Sword has a 12 kill point. However, if you have a board control, let's say mid to late, you go Amelia Luminous combo, which sets a very easy kill point. Yeah, I think that's fair. Having barrier plus ward is very difficult to kill for some decks, such as Roach Forest and Artifact Portal, I feel. Even in the mirror. Yes. I agree with that entirely. I think, though, that Roach has to have a weakness. And I think not being able to deal with ward is fine. I think that's an okay weakness. As well as Artifact Portal can be in a similar boat, where if your opponent has a ward that has just, like, 6 or more health, that can be, like, a real big, like, issue to deal with it. Let's see the Pilot's Excel spreadsheet. Real. Well, unfortunately, this one isn't actually ours. What we were getting at with this is, like, these are the numbers of each of these decks that have made it to playoffs, right? So 32 mid-range sword, 32 spellboost rune, 14 roach, 8 artifact portal, 8 mid-range abyss, 7 aggro abyss, etc, etc, etc. So the interesting one really is Face Dragon. One Face Dragon did manage to scrape through, which is really good. And then the other big one is Roach Forest. Roach Forest had more playoff tops than, you know, proportional to its number of entries in the tournament. Which is interesting, because I think a lot of people kind of wrote Roach off because of the popularity of Wardhaven. But because Wardhaven has been slipping a bit now, Roach is back. So what this might mean is, if Roach gets more popular, Wardhaven might come back because it beats Roach. But it's like, are we going to really see that? Are people going to start dipping into Wardhaven more? Just because it beats one of the field? I don't know. It's a weird one. Definitely a weird one. But the other thing the spreadsheet does is it takes a look at everyone's, like the quantity of everyone's cards, and then shows you the average and the number of, like, percentage of how many different copies they will run, which is also really useful information. So, like, this is just fantastic, personally. Like, I would love it if we had this much data for Rush. Obviously we don't, but it's cool. This is very cool. I like it. But moving on from this, we do have the Shadowverse Pro League, and this is kicking off on the 3rd, which is what? Less than a week away? So in less than a week away, we will have the big esports tournament. So this is a bit of a difficult one to get information for, because this is, you know, it's all in Japanese, right? But as far as I'm aware, there are 4 different esports organizations. How did he collect so much data? So basically, the way that the Shadowverse Open was held was that it was open tournament, or it was open list. So, if I can go and find it quick, actually, I can get it for you. They posted all of the deck lists, so you can just see every single deck list from the tournament. We'll go find it. Shouldn't take long. Here we go. So this is every single deck list from the tournament. And then in order to work out conversions, you just have to manually go find the names of the people that topped and go and grab their lists, right? But yeah, it's kind of insane, right? That this is a thing. Because, like, open deck list is, like, it's nothing, like, crazy. Like, some people do open deck lists, but, like, it's still kind of nuts that they have this much. Fairy using Tamer, which just ensure combo for Activator, but I'm seeing Forest player Prising Fencer more and more these days, because Tamer also felt bad mid-late game due to 2 cost. Yeah, I've seen, basically, in terms of, like, Forest, players have been a bit weird with it, where they've started to cut some very specific cards to make room for more text to deal with specific matchups, which is always, like, a bit of a weird practice, in my opinion, because, like, if you're playing a 40-card deck and you don't have a lot of, like, searching, and you're now including, like, specific texts and, like, one-offs, I think it does get a bit weird, because it's like, well, you're not going to guarantee you're going to see them. But But yeah, we're expecting to see some big information drop after this big competitive tournament, because this is going to have like actual professional players playing in it. You know, people that are paid to do this. Alright, but with that said and done, what I want to do now is something we haven't done yet. I want to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Chronicles, because this is something we haven't done yet. I've heard from people that these get really good, and this one specifically is really good. I have only watched the Sky Striker one. The Sky Striker one was not great. So I'm going to watch this now, and we're going to see how good this is. Now, the audio might be a bit loud, it might be a bit quiet. We're going to have to maybe finagle it as we go, but that's... Okay. That looks okay, volume-wise. Dogmatica lore. I like the Dogmatica. Well, I like the idea of the Dogmatica lore. Ah! I need my closed captions. Where were we? I definitely recognize this voice.
祈り手を天に捧げ福音の時を迎えよ聖魂よ神の子を守りたまえ聖魂よ
I don't know if I should be recognizing every single person here.
聖魂よ我らが極北の地に常しえの栄光をもたらす
Like, this is Ecclesia, right? Yeah, that's Ecclesia.
ドラグマータ
Dragomata. Catmatica when? Soon, I'm sure. Also, hello, Murata. Welcome, welcome. See, I don't recognize her. I'm sure she's one of the cards. I couldn't tell you which one.
懐かしい鎧すらまとったことがなかった少女が立派になった
もちろんですお姉様との約束ですから
これから一層国の期待に応えねばな
はい
Fucking Zaki boys.
私
It's Fleur de Lis.
この国の
I
規
don't
律は
know.
理解しているつもりです異教徒への処罰もただ私は言葉を交わせば分かり合えると思っているんです聖魂がなくても皆が祝福を受けられる世界になると信じて
甘いだが優しく強い
I wonder if they went all out for the voice actors or just got some good uprising ones. The guy who was doing the intro is a very popular voice actor that's used in tons of different anime. I'm gonna take that.
そばにいてくださって心強いです
This girl sounds familiar.
この国を守るのが私の責務だ
But all of these sound familiar.
私が神器をまとう際は
I think these are all
お姉様では
professionals.
なく騎士団長と呼ぶのだぞ
はいお姉様
The Weeb Yu-Gi-Oh fan base exploded after this release.
まったく
I heard good things, but I haven't like seen it. I'm hoping there's like some action in this. Hey Koya, welcome, welcome. Okay. Look like Dragius's head at the glance. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. And here's the boy. Here's the boy himself. It's the shot. It's the shot. Is that it? Ah. So like it was fine. But it was very short. It was very, very short. Would it kill them? Would it kill them to just release a 20-minute episode? Like I say, it wasn't bad, but also it was, like I say, it was very short. It was very, very short. So, I don't know. Episode 2 is longer. See, I'm looking at the runtime of this video, and this looks like it's basically the exact same, so... Alright, let's watch this one. At least if we watch 2 of them back to back, it's like we're watching a 10-minute episode. We'll pause this for a second, since we do have a raid Mr. Wolf TV raiding with 2 duelists. Welcome, welcome on in, everyone. We are currently watching the Yu-Gi-Oh! Chronicles stuff, because we haven't actually watched it yet. We've just finished the first Albaz Ecclesia one, and now we're about to start the second one. But welcome, welcome on in. I hope you guys had a great time with your stream. It's a little bit loud again. Turn this down just a smidge. So at the very least, this looks like it's following on from the last one. Whereas like the Sky Striker one seemed to go nowhere, so at least this is a continuing story.
Schreiger.
Okay, so these are... Oh Christ, what are their names? Tri Brigade. This is Tri Brigade. Why is Tri Brigade here? I don't really know the lore. Also, I didn't know Shiraig was just like a pretty boy. More of an ad fanfic than anything. That's kind of how it felt. This feels like it's an actual story. It's just very short bits of it, drip fed. Oh, we got Kit, we got... I always forget what the big one's called, the Link 3. Gotta go find Nerval. His name begins with R, I always forget what it is. Guards are returning. Rugal! That's it, it's Rugal. Everyone hates Dogmatica, as they like the very religious like police state. Shuriga isn't a birdman. Nope. He's a pretty boy with a hat. There's a baddie in the Tri Brigade though.
そこをどいていただけますか
That voice as well.
なりま
トライブリゲード
Today Brigade.
成功を宿さない異教トラメが
あなたたち
なんだあいつ
攻撃してはなりません。私はこの方を救いたいだけです。何を言っているの？ドラグマの奴らがアザツキ以外を救う？そんなことあるはずがない。足元の子は明らかに亜人だし、罠。私に争う意志はありません。どうか武器を収めてください。動くな。
So this is like the Dogmaticans are like
エクレシア
racist humans.
なぜ異教をかばうのですか
Tri Brigade are animal people. And then no one knows what Albaz is.
いけませんねエクレシア
What is that white hair boy? He's a dragon demon. Okay. Music swelling. Which form are we taking here? Okay, okay. Sounds like regular humans to me. Wait, you're not wrong. Is that it? Okay, so... Right. These were good. The issue is, again, they're so short. Like, they're so short. I get it that it takes a long time to make, and the animation is actually pretty good. Now, I will say, there's not a ton of actual animation happening here. There's not a lot of movement going on. Like, the actual dragon moving here, this actually kind of looks good. But, like, for the most part, a lot of these are kind of, like, camera zoom outs and stuff. There's not a lot of
なんだあいつ
actual... I don't know. I don't know if this needed to take quite as long as it took to make. Let's put it that way. It did the thing. I think these are good. Again, I think... I'm interested to see where these going, but... having to wait so long between for, like, effectively being drip-fed a story feels really bad. If only Konami gave us dual Termino as Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime 10 for a change, I would be okay with putting off Rush Anime for a few years. See, I'm the kind of person, I've always really liked the anime being about people playing cards, right? I know that might be a bit weird. I know a lot of people are like, no, I'd rather just have like the lore or like the like dual terminal and stuff like that. I personally, I always like just guys playing the card game. I think that's what I really like from a card game anime personally. All the monsters are heavily detailed, probably hard to animate. I don't know if that's true. I think, right, so they're all hand-drawn, so that's a big plus, right? They haven't gone the shortcut of just, like, using CGI for a lot of this. Like, all of this looks really nice. But, based on how long it's taking and everything, I would just imagine... Like, this stuff was great, right? Let's look at this again. So that's CGI. That's CGI. This is CGI. So all of the best action bits are all CGI. Still CGI. That CGI. Still CGI. Still CGI. I think that was still CGI. That might be layered over CGI. It's hard to tell. This is definitely CGI. That's not CGI. That's not CGI. So they are using a mixture of both CGI and non-CGI. I think it's fine. Like, because they disguise it very well as well. Like, it's not very just in your face, this is really bad CGI. Like, it's good CGI. Sorry, off topic, but where is this OST from? So the music from that we're listening to right now, this is Guilty Gear Strive. I think this is fine. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. But what we're going to do now that we've gotten through all of that, is we are going to try and actually play some Albaz. We're going to play some Albion. That's going to be what we're going to try and do. That being said, I don't know what I'm doing. We are going to absolutely fumble through this and see where this goes. This is the list that we're playing with at the moment. This is not even really a complete list. I don't really know what we're doing. So we're going to just kind of jump in, feel it out, lose a bunch, and try and go from there. That seems to be what we're going to try. I should probably try and work out what I'm trying to actually do. Like, what's my end board, right? That's fine. Reveal Despia monster. Brand opening your hand. Despia monster or branded opening from your hand. Then you can add. So we're always going to add theater. And then we're going to grab one of these. We only get that if we're going second. No third Morningstar? I mean, I could put a third Morningstar in. It's just the list that I've seen so far, I've already been playing 2, which is why we're only on 2. Again, I still don't really know how the deck works. I don't really know what our turn 1 is. I think our turn 1 is we go like Tax Dragon plus Dramaturge plus Branded in Red. And then we can use Branded in Red during our opponent's turn to get out Quertulis and bring back Aluba. I think that's what we're aiming to do. But I really don't know. Like I say, we don't really know how we're playing the deck yet. So we activate the skill. Reveal a Despia monster or a branded opening. Add a Despia monster or a branded opening. So we're always going to want to grab Aluba. Because Aluba, his effect gives us a negate. As well as he gets us to Branded in Red. So we always go Aluba. Aluba is always our normal summon, I think. Mask plus Branded in Red plus Morningstar in hand is usual end board. Okay, Mask, Branded in Red, Morningstar in hand. So we want Morningstar in hand to be used with this. Because then you can quick play, summon out first Dark Lord. And then you just wipe your opponent's board using that. Okay. Anything you could do with Albion? Again, the list that I looked up was playing one Albion. I have no idea why we're playing Albion. I assume it's to play with the trap card. But I don't know. Again, we're kind of net decking. And then once we understand how the deck works, we can then start making like informed decisions as to why we're including things. I meant the fusion one. Oh, I don't think we're... Well, we don't have it in here, I can tell you that right now, right? But... if I could spell it, that would first off help. So we'd have to make it using Fallen of Albaz. Do we have anything that counts as Fallen of Albaz other than Albion? Who gave you this list? This list is similar to Shui's list. Because again, the whole point was we needed to play pure. And a lot of like the lists that are like doing very well in tournaments are playing all the Sky Striker stuff. We don't have that. Wait a minute, Yu-Gi-Oh! You play Yu-Gi-Oh! Wow, I had no idea. Oh, considering we've been talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! For the entire time, it'd be weird to not play it at all, wouldn't it? This list looks cope. I mean, this doesn't have to be the best version of the deck. This just has to be a version that gets us through the door, right? That's what we're trying to do right now. I want to get into a game. I want to click buttons. I want to see how it, like, plays. We're going to make mistakes. That's fine. We don't need to, like, play perfectly. We just need to, like, play some games. That's what we need to do. Hey, Icy! Welcome, welcome. Do you have Droplet? We do actually have Droplet. Exclamation mark, Icy. Welcome, welcome on in. You don't need the striker cards. In fact, I hate the striker stuff. All I can say is that the striker stuff seems to be what's been winning, right? That seems to be the stuff that's been performing the best. I'm being a jackass, can you tell? I mean, I had an inkling, but I didn't want to, like, say anything. I didn't want to, like, put you on the spot. Fortune Visions. I have no idea how Fortune Ladies work, so we're just going to kind of wing this. What does this do? What is his end board going to be here? I assume he's going to make something that, like, when it gets to a certain level, becomes, like, insane. Fortune Lady in the big 2025. I mean, we might still lose to this, because I have no idea what I'm doing, but... Is this just going to be, like, an FTK? Or something? Like, I generally have no idea what's happening. Never gonna do a stream, but I'm gonna give you shit about excessive yapping. I mean, that's fine. We are self-proclaimed yappers. That's completely fine. How did your pools go? The pools actually didn't go too bad. Maybe winning, unless you meant that one guy that won Quantum Dailies because his opponent misplayed. There was a couple of different lists I think I saw that did okay. Right, which one is this? This is Black Rose Moonlight. This card is special summons level 5 or higher monsters, special summon to your opponent's side of the field, target will special summon to you, opponent controls, return to the hand. So this is one time a bounce, right? I use this effect once per turn. Okay. Alright, I have no idea what we're doing, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I'll reveal a Luba. Then I can grab stuff. I don't know what I actually want to take here. I think I want this guy in hand. And this. Maybe I didn't need that because I've already got that. I don't know which card I send to the graveyard here. It's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect. This isn't by card effect. Discard this card. Maybe that would have been better to have in hand. I'll put this in the grave for now. Okay, I've just plussed a million. I'm pretty sure what I did there was wrong. But we're learning slowly. Despia monster from a deck. Either add to your hand or special summon it in defense position. Right, I think our normal always goes on Leluga, right? Because I want this in the graveyard one way or another. We already have that, so I guess I'm going to take this. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. We have literally no idea what we're doing. We'll activate this. So this is going to force out the bounce, which is fine, I think. I mean, do I just do this? No, because I don't have thingy. I don't have the other one. Okay, that's fine then. During his turn. How does brand? Because branded red means I can't attack directly, right? I cannot attack directly. So even if I do that, I can't do anything with it. Let's go for this. God, I literally have no idea what I'm doing. We're just going to do this. Oh, that only went to graveyard as well. Okay. Again, I am massively just struggling and shuffling through the dark right now. We have literally no idea what we're doing. We are clicking buttons, guys. We are literally just clicking buttons. Compulse. Let's put that back. Okay. I don't know, let's get rid of that. What do I even have in here? Does much for a deck to your hand, except this from tragedy, branch card for graveyard, take a branch spell in graveyard set. Sure. It's gonna get a battle. Like I say, I have no idea what we're doing. I have no idea what we're doing. So I think it's fine to Dark Fusion because it gives targeting protection for your fairy type monsters. Yeah, probably. Again, we are literally just fumbling right now. We're just trying to see what happens, so we get an idea of like how cards work. So now I know that branded summons in defense. Like, that's what I learned from that. Well, I can't attack directly if I do that, so we're just going to pass. So, summon in defense position. Counts for some monsters, the extra deck except fusion monsters. Okay. So, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. I think it doesn't help as well that our opponent's playing like a complete meme deck, which means we don't really have anything to like gain from this game outside of like how some of our own cards work. Okay, so he's drawing a bunch more cards. I'm just going to fire this off now. I'm going to make a masquerade. This is way too late, but I'm still going to do it. I didn't even read his card whatsoever. I don't know. That one. And then his effect is another negate, right? It's gonna take me so long to actually learn this deck. Like, it's actually gonna take me so long. You can still use Branded in Red and revive Dermatose from Banished. So even if your monster can't attack directly after using Branded in Red, it still triggers your other monsters that you use to Fusion Summon. Okay. I mean, I didn't even read this, that it just gets to destroy all my back row. I mean, he has 2 activations left, right? Otherwise the Taxman cometh. He's going to increase or reduce a level. Okay, well, for our first game, we have learnt quite a lot. Which is good. We are very much a learn by doing kind of person. What is the plan with all of this? Hello, Vermilion. Swings over. Pass. What do I even have in here? I could get Ding. Let's have this. If I do that, I can search that. That doesn't really get me much. This guy's kind of just in the way right now. I don't know, let's just do this. What does this one do from the graveyard? Sure. I'll try and bring this back. Wow. I mean, this is what has to go, right? If that's gone, then I'm just fine. I'll go Book a Moon. Put this down. Aha! Alright, well... Alright, we absolutely clicked... I think every single button we clicked in that game was wrong. I think absolutely every single one. I think what I need to do is try to focus on one specific line and go for that. Monsters that have effects when used as fusion medicts, Adlib, Tragedy, and Demiurge. But then the question becomes, which ones do I want to focus on? Because I can use the skill to grab a Despia monster or a branded opening. I assume the Despia monster I'm always going to want is going to be a Luba, because a Luba gets me to branded in red. But if I already have a Luba, it will then come down to, do I want dramaturge, do I want ad libitum, do I want comedy or tragedy? Simply click yes every time and you win. I mean, that's what we did there. We did win, but I'm not sure if that was, strictly speaking, like, down to us. I had a Despia. So if we immediately go for fusion, so if we use this, fusion summon. So this just sends them to the graveyard. So it doesn't banish them. Graveyard or banished. Graveyard or banished because of a card effect. Add branded spell trap. I guess what I'm trying to work out is which of these bodies do I want to fuse together on turn 1. Oh, we'll finagle it. We'll just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's what we're gonna do. What I kind of want to do is go first, because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do going first. I don't really have a huge idea of what I'm doing going second, especially because going second, I'm going to have to navigate my opponent's board every time, which means the line's probably going to change a bit. Whereas if I go first, I can just do the same shit every time and just see if my opponent hand chats me. Okay, so we're against Tombs. Tomb Kingdom, okay. This is the one that protects all his shit, right? And if I try and pop it, it gets rid of itself. Cannot target 2 monsters you control with card effects. Every 2 monsters you control will be destroyed. Banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down instead. Okay. Grabbed Page Flip. Depends on what your hand looks like, to be honest. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's going to be difficult to know exactly how to play the hand until I have played the deck a bit. Red Eyes, Golem, and Blackluster Soldier. Okay, BLS comes down. We can't target it, can't kill it by battle. So I'll reveal this tragedy, why not? Here, I think we always grab a Luba. I don't know if that actually is correct, but... then we can use it to grab... That's fine. We normal a Luba. This gets his on summon. We already have the double branded in red, so I don't need those. We already have 2 of that as well, so I guess I'm going to grab Judgment. We still don't have access to that. I mean, I could get it. This is made using 3 Dark Fairies. If I link 2, I'm not going to have enough bodies to get everything I want, right? Right, I'm going to go branded opening. I think I'm just going to get rid of this. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. Oh well, we can get rid of bookmark, I guess. This is the pure version? Yes. Again, we're very much just, like, doing whatever right now. It's not going to be with a card effect, so I don't think it matters. Can I do this again? I can't. So if we do the fusion, that's fine. I can also just go into this as well. That's also fine. I probably should have used that, to be honest, but... Right, we're pressing all the buttons. Add from deck to hand. Put this. Okay. That didn't quite go the way I was expecting it to, but that's fine. Then this guy comes out. And then he comes out. And then he attacks. I mean, alright, we've played against two meme decks, right? We've played against two meme decks. We have not played the deck super well. Like, at all. But I think we're starting to see the vision come together a little bit. I still think I need to just work out which cards I want to be adding at the start and which cards I want to be using for fusions. The other issue is we keep opening branded in red, so we don't need to use like Aluba to get branded in red. So I'm like, I keep being like, well, I need to get to this card. I've already got it, so it doesn't matter. The other thing is we haven't been opening Morningstar. Obviously, we can get to Morningstar using Condemned, and that was something we were thinking about doing in that game. But I was like, I don't have enough bodies. I've got so many spells that I like can't do anything with that. Alright, we're going to play again. I think today is just going to be the, like, feeler out day. And then maybe next time we play this deck, we're going to be looking up, like, actual builds, looking up optimal combos, and go from there. Okay, we're against Utopia. This is a real deck, so we're probably going to get our shit pushed in. And we're going second again. We've gone second every single game. So he's going to make, what, 2 negates? That's not normal. Okay. Reveals Astrotopia. Yep. Barrier form activated. Adds Sage. Turns to deck. Adds Numeron Force. We have the Utopia down. Numeron Force comes down. So Utopia Ray comes down. That part of the effect doesn't matter anymore. From deck or extra deck to his card, equipped to his monster effects. This effect solution cannot be negated once per turn. Target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and halve its attack. Okay, that's fine. That's a once per turn negate. Is he going to get another one out? We've got Leo Arms. Isn't Leo Arms like kind of shit? Like, isn't the negate one so much more annoying? If you don't open Morningstar, you can just fuse Tragedy plus Lib slash Drama to add a Luba and resummon a body for Condemned Dark Lord. Right, I'll try and remember that. I will try to remember that. Well, here we have Morningstar, so I don't need it, but in future. Oh, Xyz's Reflect is going to be annoying. Spell Trap. Monster effect is activated. Targets. Only when it targets. So if we just don't target, that doesn't matter. Does this one do anything? So he just has a negate. He has a negate and a targeted negate, and that's it. Behold. Banishment of the Dark Lords. Is this only a monster negate as well? It is only a monster. Okay. Got to do it without opening because that fusion locks it. Right. I mean, we already have a Luba. I guess we'll grab Despian Comedy. Oh no, we already have the Despian. I'm getting the effects completely backwards all the time. I think we have damn near everything. I think I'll grab this or this. I'll probably grab this. What does this one do? This one adds Spell Trap. And this one just summons itself. Right, we'll grab this. And we'll grab this. We'll use the other part of the skill. We'll put this in the bin. Add the Brandon in red. We'll normal a Luba and see if he negates this. We basically just got to try and bait stuff out, right? Usually send Tragedy with the skill. Okay. That's good to know. What's the benefit of sending Tragedy with the skill? Is it because then when we fuse it from the graveyard, or if you put it back into our hand and fuse? And we can just make this, right? This one is special on this card. So I can chain block that in case he's got... Well, I know that's not going to do anything, but... In case he did have something. Because your opponent uses DD Chronicles, you still get value. Oh, I see. I see. That does make sense. In my mind, I'm trying to work out, like, the... like, what... during my combo is the thing that helps out, but I don't think about playing around staples because I'm just not used to it. All right, we go again. We're getting there. I think we're starting, right? We're starting to see some sort of lines. I'm sure, by the way, I'm sure so many people watching are like, "This is painful to watch. This is awful. What are you doing?" But, like, we're slowly learning. We're slowly learning. Okay, so this is probably Ra? I have no idea how the new Ra deck works, except that it can get out Guardian Slime and it protects all your shit. Okay, we are going first, but we have also opened Theatre, which is a little bit awkward. I don't think this is a good hand. But we'll see. So we add this. We can go Theatre. We go 1. We go 2. Bring out Masquerade. And there's no point in holding onto this. Because I have to discard a card. We don't have a card to discard. So I think this is just it. This is our turn 1. I think this is it. I think this is a fine turn 1. You could grab Tragedy and the Lure off of Tragedy. So we would have... So we add Tragedy instead of Aluba to hand, then immediately fuse with Despia from hand, then Tragedy's effect gets us Aluba to our hand, then we summon it after we've made the fusion monster. I assume that's what we're talking about? Wait, can we even get that off of Tragedy, though? Because doesn't Tragedy just grab spell traps? What does this one do? Talk about super patrols. Okay. Tragedy adds monsters. I see. Is it comedy then? Comedy adds spell traps? Adds monsters can reset spell traps from the graveyard. Okay. Okay. I don't really know when I'm supposed to interrupt this. Because if he does get out Phoenix, we're just dead. Can I even interrupt this at any point? This just pops board, and this just negates something. So, I guess I can negate Phoenix. What's this graveyard effect? Banish card from the graveyard. Winged Dragon of Ra. Okay. Sun God's Flare. Plus 2,500 life points. Adds back Monster Reborn. So you can just start popping me with this, right? Blaze Cannon. Effects. Unaffected by opponent's card effects. Okay, I think I needed to do that then. He has Monster Reborn. Here it comes. Again, I don't think we care about this, right? I will allow this. Okay. What effect are we doing here? Once per turn during my phase, you can send this. I have no idea. Sure. I might be dead. I might be dead. I don't want to read all of his cards, so we're just gonna we're just gonna see where this goes. Okay, so this one is unaffected by the card. Pay 1,000. Someone wants to put stuff to the graveyard. Once per turn during the end phase, then this card. I mean, right now he can only get rid of one of my guys, right? So I think we're just fine. I think we're fine. I will allow this. That was a cool effect, though. Wait, why am I negating his effect? Now he just gets to stay on the board. Okay, he goes anyway. He goes anyway, because he ignores my effect. He ignores my negating him. Okay, this is back. This is just can't be like... So we just, like, get rid of this, right? He is unaffected. Except by itself. But Sphere isn't, right? We can just get rid of Sphere. You just win? Yeah, but what is the winning line before I mess it up? Because my gut is that I should get out an 8. But I don't know what the actual good line is. Because, see, this is the thing. Now I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to do in chat. Because I know I'm going to mess this up. What am I going to fuse? Condemned, grab Morningstar, blow his ass. So it's literally that simple. Do I just do that with these, though? That doesn't feel... Fine. We'll try this. We'll see where this goes. I don't know if I'm going to have enough stuff to do this, but... So now what? Activate branded. Grab that. But then it can't attack directly. And then I can't attack directly. So I don't... This is what I mean. John would be better. Resummons itself to swing directly. Ah, okay. Okay. So we'll just get a battle. Okay, so Dramaturge there would have been 3,000. Okay, in my mind, I was like... Hello, Gravity Zero. Welcome on in. I mean, we are new to this deck. We are fumbling through. We are struggling with this deck. So... that would have been fine. I guess if his back row was anything, that could have stopped it. But other than that, it was kind of fine. So we had... Branded in red always gives us an extra plus. That means we always get the third monster. We have... specifically... 2 bodies. The 2 bodies go into that. That gets me a +1, but I have to discard a card from hand. Okay, we're slowly getting there. The other one we have to remember is to grab the Tragedy. I think you almost never target a Luba with red unless you have no choice. Okay. That's good to know. It's alright. We're making progress. We are making progress. That's the fun part of this as well. Is like the real fun bit is when like you kind of know how your deck works, but like this is still the fun part of the game. I'll reveal this Tragedy. So we already have the Tragedy. Well, I guess we're still just grabbing a Luba. We always grab this. We activate this. We go into Masquerade. We use this and this. This comes out in defense. I guess I'm going to add Ad Libitum just because it's the only one I don't have in rotation. I don't know if that is actually the correct one or not. We normal Aluba. Grabs Brandon and red. Okay. I think that's kind of our standard-ish turn 1. Tragedy plus any 8, then grab a Luba off of the Tragedy. Okay. Okay. This is the one I always forget about. Ad Libitum is like... I don't know. Ad Libitum feels like a bit of a weird one because it gets you back a level 8 fusion monster. Oh Christ, what is this? I don't really know how Nouvelles work, other than they tribute all my stuff. Okay, so this is... There's Lava Golem. How exciting. Now, I hate Lava Golems so much. Just chain block them when they try to target their own ritual monster. Okay. Okay, so this one is... No scuff in hand, shuffle the rest of the deck. When a card is activated, targets on the field. When this card, quick effect, you treat this card. Okay. When they try to target their own ritual monster. But he's not currently targeting his own ritual monster, right? Guess it doesn't matter where this card goes. This... Do I just win? I was like... Surely it's not just this. Surely I don't just... Is that fundamentally what the deck just tries to do? It's just wipe your opponent's board with Dark Lord and then win the game. Is that the fundamental game plan? Can I see a deck list? Yeah, we can show a deck list. Do you have automatic zone placement? Alright. I know what you're going to say, Dwam, right? I never used to have automatic zone placement. I turned it on when I was doing gate duels, when I just wanted to go through the gate matches very quickly. And then when I played dinosaurs, it basically never came up. Like, zone placement just did not matter for dinosaurs. So I just left it. I know it's bad. Good deck beats bad deck, crazy stuff. Yeah, but like usually in order to win in speed, I have to like, you have to learn the combos, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do everything in a very specific way, you have to play through that interruption. This deck so far, bearing in mind, I have only played against like terrible decks. All I've done basically is summon out the first Dark Lord, wipe the board, GG. That's it. That's the entirety of the strategy. I would turn it off because the condemned play requires you to put the fusion in the MM zone. Okay, that is a good shout. If there's a specific reason to do so, yeah, I should definitely do that. I don't care, to be fair, but here it matters if you want to go for the Dark Lord link. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Right. Let's get another game in. That's a lot of 9s. Right, when we get in, we'll turn the specific placement on. We're going second. Okay. I still don't really know what we're doing with Albion yet. I'm not really sure why he's in the list, but he is in here. And we've also opened the one of Despia Theatre of the Branded again, which is like kind of annoying, so it just means it's one less card that we're getting. You run 2 Aluba. We do run 2 Aluba. Okay. This is when someone could hand the graveyard. Okay, so he's got a bounce. An annoying bounce. Then you could send opening with Albion, so you have protection for your fusions. Which one's this one? Once per turn during the main phase, you can destroy one face-up monster the opponent controls the highest attack. You cannot activate monsters' effects the turn you activate this effect, except the warriors. Okay, so he's got a pop and a bounce. But he has to do them both at the same time. Reveal Tragedy. So Tragedy means we already have access to Aluba, right? So I could just grab, like, Dramaturge. Mind you, it just grabs anything anyway, right? So it doesn't matter which one we grab. So I guess I'll just grab this. I guess we'll just summon it. And see if he does anything here. Oh, I've already messed it up. I was supposed to use the skill, because I can only use the skill when only my opponent controls a monster. So we've already messed that up. We've already messed that up. Yeah, it pops that. But I don't think it matters. But, like, that was still a really stupid misplay that we should not have made. The skill is literally do it whenever your opponent controls a monster and you don't, right? Okay, yeah. So I can just grab this. Oh, I can't believe we messed that up. I mean, I can believe it's our first day, but... Add this to hand. Usually want to fusion before you normal summon. Yeah, I think that probably does make sense. I was just seeing if I could get him to use his effect, was the logic. I mean, even if it's flawed logic, that was the logic. I mean, don't we just win if we just literally do this, right? You. Like, I'm pretty sure we've won already, right? There's like nothing like crazy we do here, right? I think we just set this. I'm pretty sure we're just spinning plates. Alright. I don't know, man. This deck feels... Just because we have a Dark Hole. It's more than a Dark Hole. It's Dark Hole and Heavy... It's Reigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster. On a 4k attack body. And it just feels like all we're doing is turboing that out. And that's it. Sure, we'll post that. Why not? Why not? Why not? Is that Dr. Alex in the chat? Hello, hello, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Rank up clap. Yeah, we did it. It can't be targeted and chain block. Yeah, it's insane. I don't know. I feel like what it is that one card is busted. And now the rest of the entire deck is just facilitating it. But, unfortunately, everyone, that is going to be the end of our stream today. We are going to go ahead and raid into How. How is playing Flirt Adamancipator, it looks like. So we are going to go and raid into him. But we will be back. We probably won't be on Thursday. We're probably going to be back on Friday. So we'll be back Friday, maybe with some rush stuff, maybe with some speed stuff. We're not entirely sure. If the rush stuff is out, we'll be doing that. If it's not, we'll be doing speed stuff. But again, we probably will not be here on Thursday. Almost certainly going to be a Friday stream. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Not like the most expensive one ever, but Brandon will top that 100%. Brandon will top that, unless miraculously they make Azealia and Camellia a UR, and the next other stuff they make as a UR.